Hello everyone, welcome to LPL English. I'm here with IG's mid laner Rookie. Let's have Rookie say hello to everyone first.
大家好，我是 IG 中单 Rookie。Hello
everyone, I'm Rookie. So first question is, today is the last match before Chinese New Year, right? And you guys, even though you guys had a little slow start, you guys were able to give a very fancy comeback and give everyone a very good game today. So what are your feelings about today's game? 首先，今天的比赛是 LPL 在中国新年的前的最后一场比赛。那今天你们刚开始是比较慢热，但是后来也打出了一个非常华丽的反转，然后也给观众带来一个非常精彩的比赛。你自己对今天的表现、今天的状况有什么样的评价吗？
今天也是不是特别的顺利就拿下就是这场比赛。我不觉得我们今天的发挥特别美好，包括自己。所以我今天主要是自己的个人一些小失误还是比较多，所以这个东西可能让我觉得，我进步空间还是很大。然后我们的在游戏内的配合上面的，就是一些小问题还是有存在吧。然后我们也在经过训练赛就慢慢的调整中的状态吧。就希望我们年后之后打FPX，我们打的。就是我们要游戏内的配合必须要增加一点。
So personally, I think it didn't went as smooth. Personally, myself, I made some mistakes, little mistakes, and also our combo wasn't that good. It wasn't that smooth overall. So I think even though we won today's game, we still have a lot of little mistakes we have to fix. Also afterwards, we're going to play FPX, and we need to fix those mistakes and perform better after New Year's. So you said that you guys didn't have a really good start. So in the first game, you guys actually lost, but you guys were able to come back in the second, third, and fourth game. What do you think you guys fixed? You were able to win that off. 你刚刚说在第一局的时候你们输了，但在第二、第三、第四局都非常好顺利的赢下来了。想问一下你在第二、第三、第四局是做怎么样的改正才把它赢下来的
呢？今天唯一也能说的顺利的拿下的比赛的局应该只有第三局了，就是第二局也是我们前期打出很大的优势，但是因为是个人的失误把优势送出去比较多，然后我们在决策上面的一些就个人的老毛病嘛，毕竟是我们是每个队，然后就是在自己的各自队的时候，可能打的一些习惯呀，然后玩法也肯定是跟大家不一样，所以我们也是通过比赛慢慢的改变，所以这样的话，我们后面我认为我们打得会更好。
So I think all I can say is that third game we actually played smoothly. And even in the second game we had little mistakes, and also personally I made some little mistakes that I feel like later in the game we're able to fix those, and we need to fix those for we're able to win today's game off in the third, second, and fourth game. That's why we're able to win. So in the second game we saw that your team was at a disadvantage in the early and mid game, but in the mid game there was a Baron team fight, and you came back, backdoored them and won out that team fight, and then won out the game and won yourself MVP. I want to ask you, how was the communication during that? 在第二局的时候，中期看到前期跟中期其实你们比较落后，然后在中期有一波大龙团战，你从后面绕了他们，然后顺利赢下那个大龙团战，然后自己也获得 MVP。想问一下你在那边是怎么沟通的？
可能我们最近可以多多尝试，就是把他们的位置站在一起，然后就是能绕后的英雄就这样去绕后一下，这样的话让对面的人觉得很着急，因为他们马上要被包起来的感觉，所以我们通过训练赛一直在尝试这些玩法嘛。然后就是最近的游戏的常态就是如果有个队，就有个对面或者是我们队能做到这个画面的话，就打团的胜利的话，就马上就增加特别高。所以我们也是一种尝试嘛，所以就尝试一下，然后效果还不错。
So actually, we tried a lot of different strategies, especially the backdoor strategy in these in our scrims, and also it actually played very well in team fights. So we tried a lot of those and make our opponent to force them to stand in the positions that we want them to stand in. And we tried a lot of different strategies in the recent scrims. That's why we were able to use that in today's game. And we were able to win that off. In the fourth game, you chose Zeri against their Smolder in the mid lane. This is actually the first time we saw this kind of matchup, champion matchup in the mid lane. I want to ask you about your feelings for the Fearless Draft meta. 在第4局的时候，我们看到你在中局选择了泽丽对上对面的小火龙，这是我们第一次今年在 LPL 看到这样的角对局。那想问一下，你自己对无畏征召这个模式有什么样的看法呢？
首先我们就是现在全军 BP 这个环境是，也就可能让粉丝们觉得比较好看吧，但是对选手来说，就一天的在每个位置的英雄池，可能就5、6个都不够，就必须要10个英雄以上的时候，就特别是打到第3局、第4局、第5局的时候，就可能大家也没想到的英雄也会拿出来使用的，因为当时是第4局嘛，然后我们也就准备了好多那是 AP 打野的，但是这样的情况下我们必须要使用 AD 中单才能使用 AP 打野嘛。然后个人的话也本来就我认为我的在中单这个位置上，我觉得我的泽丽是玩的最好的，所以就有这样的信心。跟就是昨天在聊 BP 的时候，我们也提到过这个就是问题，所以就今天教练也让我就是相信我，就让我选，然后我就选了，然后效果还不错吧。
So the reason I picked Zeri is because we need AP mid to play AP jungle. So I'm pretty good at Zeri, and so when we were talking about our ban pick yesterday, I told my coach, and he also trusted me. So that's why I chose this champion today. And also in this Fearless draft, I think even though it's very fun for the people that watch, for us, we need a lot of big champion. But we need to prepare like 10 champions per game to be able to use that to be able to use the strategy well. So I think it's kind of hard for us, but it's also very interesting and fun to play in this Fearless draft meta. As a person that played in the industry for a very long time, how do you maintain your sharpness? 在这个赛场上打了那么久，你自己怎么保持住自己的心态跟实力呢？
因为首先我个人觉得，就是我并且打了这么久的职业，但是就是这几年的成绩没有想要的那种特别好，所以我并不觉得我自己的实力就是自己觉得是没问题，但是就结果还是就那么差一点点，要么就是自己这样的成绩是拿不到嘛，所以这也是我们通过2025年的新的 IG， 我想就是也是很想证明一下自己嘛。然后我也想跟大家说，就是我还是可以打，我还是可以就是拿到好成绩，所以我今年也通过今年也蛮期待的。说实话，今年的我应该是会打得很好的，所以希望自己也不要怀疑自己，然后也相信队友，因为这毕竟是就是战队游戏，5个人的游戏，就1个人打得好就没有用的，就5个人必须要想法一致，然后就是这样的情况下才能赢下比赛。
So actually, even though I play a very long time, I'm not quite satisfied with my recent performance. And then 2025, I need to prove myself again. That's why I joined this team. And I really trust my players, all my teammates. I believe we all focus on reaching the goal. We're able to perform well and show everyone that I'm still the rookie that everyone believes in. So I want to ask you to say something to the Chinese fans. Happy New Year. 想要你跟观众说一些新年的祝福。
祝大家新年快乐，然后也很开心，就是过年前给大家带来胜利，然后我们也是可以因为拿到胜利，就是去过年好好吃饭呀，好好跟家人一起度过啊什么的，所以希望这一年的粉丝们也跟新的 IG 一起就是打到下一个过年吧，对，下一年的过年。
So I'm very happy that we were able to win this game before Chinese New Year. So I'm really happy for our fans too, and also hopefully you had a happy time watching us. And so, do you have any message to the foreign fans? 你对海外的观众有没有什么话想说的？最后，
也是蛮感谢 就海外海外粉丝们一直以来支持我吧，然后就是我也很想就是去世界赛，跟大家在舞台上的时候一起上手比赛，所以希望大家懂我。
So very happy, thankful for everyone overseas that supports me. Hopefully I'll be at Worlds and show my performance at Worlds for you guys. Please wait for me there. 谢谢你 Thank you so much.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in the world. Welcome in to the LPL English team's coverage of the LPL. We've got a great matchup on hand tonight as we are looking at the conclusion of Group D between IG and FPX. My name is Yanni. Rudude is here on the mic with me. Rudude, listen, this series could get wild, or it could become pretty concluded after the first game.
Yeah, the sad truth of this series is it could be finished within one game. It could also take 3-5 games maybe to get ourselves an eventual victor. The reason we put it in as such and frame it like this is the IG need to win a single game in this series to secure themselves second seed. The way that the rest of the group has panned out, they're looking for one game win, not even the series win. If they win one game, they will still secure themselves a spot in the playoffs. FPX, though, if they want to stop that from happening, they can 3-0, and then they will secure themselves a second place and a spot in playoffs also.
Yeah, there's just one problem with that, Rudude. The last time FPX swept a team in a best of 5, 2021 summer playoffs. Back-to-back rounds versus LNG and WE, but that was a very different team. It was Nuguri, Tion, Doinby, LWX, and Crisp. And the last time IG was swept in a BO5 was in the Demacia Cup in 2022. And if we're talking actual non-off-season tournaments, it was 2020 summer playoffs. So that is a long time ago. But the Shy and Rookie were on that team. So who knows, Rudude, there may be a chance. Let's take a look at the full groups coming through as we have one more match that'll be tomorrow as we're looking for the conclusions of Group A and Group D, and they both have playoff implications.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for today's, we've already discussed the implications. IG need to win a single game and then they secure themselves second seed, but Group A, very much up for grabs. Top versus LGD is going to be the be-all and end-all, really. I think favourites going in are going to be Top Esports, but if there's a world where LGD find a surprise upset, I mean, after yesterday, all bets are off, right? Talk. If you look at Group C, are the top of Group C, which I don't know that too many people would have had on their 2025 bingo cards.
No, they're the Thunder Talk of the town right now, my friend. They have really impressed and have shown that any team that can come together and has strong individual play with great team play can shock the LPL, as FPX are trying to do today. And as I alluded to, there will be one other game tomorrow. So take a look at the schedule. We are at the tail end of it. LGD versus Top Esports will be tomorrow, but today we're focused on IG versus FPX. Rudude, we mentioned what these particular games mean, making these teams get to the playoffs, perhaps these upsets, but it would mean so many crazy things for the LPL as a whole. IG and TES would potentially be just out of the playoffs in the first split, and that is something that nobody would have considered at the beginning of the split.
No, I think that, you consider recent history, that as a statement in its own right is just completely out of line with where you would have anticipated. That they're two organizations that have been relatively dominant in recent years, and then for the most part you would have expected them to make playoffs, and there is yet a world where it might not happen, Yanni. And that, it excites me. I remember we were talking in the green room beforehand. Yeah, I can see the series going one way, but the most LPL, the fun timeline, has an FPX 3-0 in the works here.
Listen, it may be reality, but some people prefer the magic. Maybe we will see that happen today as we take a look into FPX's roster just a little bit here. As you can see from the top side, Sheer, Shadow, Care, Bot, and Jue from top to bottom. And Rudude, a lot of these players have been some shining stars. Sheer, Bot, and Jue in particular, definitely players to watch out for. And there has been a lot of good that FPX has done so far in Split 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jue, as you mentioned, has been really quite crucial for a lot of the FPX successes that we've seen them find. I think that his engages have been, at times, maybe a little bit overforced, but equally, at other times, they've been what has led FPX to such successful ventures so far for the split. And I mean, that they are struggling obviously so far, but I think that when they've looked good, Jue has been why they've looked good.
Yeah, and I love that FPX has, at least coaching-wise and draft-wise, they've given him a lot of resources. He's gotten a couple of R5s. Typically he's also at times getting stuff before you get into the second half of draft, so you're giving him some power support picks. And really, if you want to see success in this team, it feels like Jue is one of the players you need to give a lot of resources to because he will make things work. On the other side, we have the sleeping giants in IG, Invictus Gaming, the legacy order around since 2011. The Shy in the top lane, Jeje in the jungle, Rookie in the mid lane, and then the power bot lane duo of Gala and Mako rounding out this roster. A team that we're very surprised we've reached this point in a do or die final series of the regular season for them.
Yeah, I mean, again, the story of these two teams as a whole, right, is that they won Worlds back to back through 2019. These two teams are extremely storied in the LPL and have had such high highs, and the idea that we're saying goodbye to one of these teams today, again, you look back 5 years, you'd think, how is that ever going to happen? But the way that the LPL has evolved, and the resurgence more so of other teams, and the uprising of BLG as well, has sort of led us to this timeline. And it's a timeline where IG, a team that need just one game today to cement themselves a spot in the top 8, and I think expectation is that they should find it. But even still, the sort of, we would call it a dramatic fall, but from where their expectations were at the start of the split, again, IG, an organization that typically very big on homegrown talent, would always look to generate through their academy system and put players in and implement them like that. This split, though, just went and spent on a super roster, spent for this super team. And it hasn't worked, not in the way that we would have liked them to. This was a team that coming in was expected to 3-0 the majority of their series and make their way out of the group as first seed, but they were upset by NIP. They had a couple of ropey games versus RNG, and I think that for today, they absolutely have to destroy FPX for there to be any return to the hope that they might be the team that they're touted as.
Yeah, they need to have a really clean series, and both of these teams hold a really special place in my heart. In 2019, I remember watching the finals that FPX had, as you can see, them lift the trophy. I remember watching this in my office at my job, telling people at my current job what League of Legends is and why this team was so crazy good. They're like, how was this a 3-0 in the finals? And I had to explain that to them.
I mean, yeah, there was... The idea as well that G2 even made it there was quite, for me as well.
That was awesome.
EU, it was a big year, and then obviously the IG year also. All the players were so full of life. It felt like just watching that, and you can see in the celebrations as well. But they back to back of LPL finding victories at Worlds, and this was after a streak of just at the time SKT T1 just dominating, and then the LCK finding wins time and time again. But this was sort of the beginning of where the LPL looked so good, and then being able to find a couple of Worlds wins back to back was truly iconic.
Yes, it was a very special moment, and really a monumental moment in League of Legends lore when it comes to the professional scene. IG being the first Chinese team to ever win the World Championship, and then getting it the very next year with FPX, really showing that yes, the LPL could contend with the LCK. It wasn't just Korean dominance. It is a war between these two regions whenever it goes to the World Championship, and whenever teams from these regions match up at the end of the year, you never know what the result is going to be. And even when it comes to IG now, you still don't know what the result is going to be sometimes, because IG, as you've talked about, haven't been winning games super cleanly. They've had some struggles, especially in the spot lane.
Yeah, I mean, the bot lane duo, I think, is the quintessential position to look at for IG, because they were Gala Mako, a duo that had been speculated around, definitely, that didn't know how these two were going to function. You had Gala, who's this little bit more of a hyper carry scale up type player, versus Jakilov on the other side, right, where he was the very aggressive laner, and Mako sort of facilitated that, but we didn't know how they particularly meshed together as a duo. And in that first series versus NIP, you know, the answer was poorly. They were getting solo killed time and time again by Lee PP God, and you know, that continued through the remainder of the series as well. Even in their games versus RNG, we can see that there's still early struggles where they're trying to take fights, but just not quite on the same wavelength. And they have definitely found themselves in this position now where, yes, it's only a win in the series that takes them out of the group. But again, to compare that to the expectation of this should have been the sort of triumphant victory to end their group stage, it's not been that at all.
Yeah, and you can see in that clip with Rookie, I mean, it's been everybody, right? There have been issues, you know, from time to time with everybody on the team. Jeje and Mako have not really linked up as well as we would have liked in their early game, especially with their past, and obviously their great individual talent. And then the Shy has had one game of an aggressive top laner. He's gotten Renekton in the one time, and outside of that, it's been, you know, just nothing but tanks. And I wonder when they're gonna, you know, try to unlock him, if they ever are or anything like that. There's multiple different ways that this team can play, and you know, right now it's not working out so hot. You know, obviously you want to get to first stand, but you know, this team does have time to gel together and be the team that we need them to be. And now, want to highlight that Shadow getting the keyboard today, I guess we'll say, as him and Sorrow have split some time. And he will be our player spotlight today. Obviously, you know, the KDA, not looking so hot, but the kill participation and the damage there, very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, KDA maybe not the one that we're looking at to showcase quite why Shadow might be an exciting prospect, but is doing a lot for the team, right? Second in kill participation. Of 16 junglers, maybe 17 even, as we can tell. He's definitely, you know, very, very up there, sort of suggesting more so that Shadow is the player that's making things happen for this FPX roster, where, you know, if there's any reason for FPX to succeed, it's coming off of Shadow. And I think that linking up with Dre is certainly something that we can be looking at to give them a bit of an opportunity throughout the remainder of this series, throughout this game, to make sure that they get that 3-0 is their hope, obviously. But I think that looking at how Shadow integrates himself continuously now with this or picking up of Milky Way shoes, let's say, in an FPX roster, it's going to be a tricky slot to slot into.
Yeah, and one of the big things that FPX hasn't really been able to do, either jungler, is unlock bot and Jue. In that bot lane, we see so many teams pull off these 3v1 dives in the lane swaps. It's not something we've really seen from them to get bot ahead and really give him a big lead and room to work with. He's their young, aggressive AD carry that we want to see resources poured into, and we want to see him try to pop off. So we'll see if Shadow is going to be the one to enable FPX's bot lane to really flourish and shine, and in a matchup against Gala and Mako, who, as we mentioned just a couple moments ago, have struggled a little bit. You know, there are opportunities there, perhaps a small crack that they can exploit and turn it into a 3-0 in their favor if they're really gunning for the playoffs here.
Yeah, that's got to be the hope, right? I think that for the remainder, we can move into now this beautiful production that our producer Kelsey has looked to put on. I say that and I lie because we're a little bit behind, and it means that walkouts are about ready. So we are going to take a look at the teams entering now. IG obviously, and FPX, the duos we're going out with.
It's all about believing. You know, that's exactly, I like that. I love the quotes that they have on these walkouts. I gush about these walkouts all the time. It's just because they're so cool. Oh. It reminds me, you know, it reminds me of like of years past. You had these really, really cool things. Everybody always loves the OGN intros and stuff like that. And, you know, I love these walkouts where you really get to see the teams and the fans interact. I love the Chinese New Year when they had the envelopes, giving them out to everybody. It just shows that the LPL is so in tune with their fans, and they want to do nothing but make them proud through their performances domestically and internationally.
Yeah, I mean, the group stage walkouts, I think, always have to be a little bit more tame more than anything. But when you get to playoffs, when you get to like the finals and stuff, that's when it feels like the big ticket entrances start to hit, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. Is actually how are these teams going to start doing their walkouts as we move later and later on into the playoffs bracket, which starts very, very soon. We've got 2 games left of the regular season, quote, group stage, however we want to call it. And then obviously we're on to playoffs and on to the big knockout games.
Yeah, the real stuff. And
more best of 5s.
Exactly, more best of 5s. We love best of 5s. Everybody stands best of 5s. And one thing to note is that a couple of these teams that are going to be in the bottom bracket, remember, it's double elim if you get first place. But, there are teams that aren't going to be able to lock first place. Just to mention a few, Top Esports, obviously LGD, depending on how that goes. Weibo Gaming is going to start out on the bottom side. BLG, as we know from yesterday. I mean, I was at the Philadelphia Eagles parade, and I tuned in to Thunder Talk versus BLG because I knew how crazy of a series that was going to be. For those who don't know, Super Bowl parade, really, really big event over here in the United States.
Yeah, and you took the time out to come and watch some LPL, which is exactly what you should be doing for reference.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, the idea that we've got now 2 Titan organizations from the LPL's recent history, definitely starting in the lower bracket. IG as well, if they make it, they're going to be in the lower bracket. There's a lot of teams that don't have that second life, that coming into the season, again, we had expected they might do, and that is where rather we'll get to see if they're still made of the good stuff, right? That championship caliber material, because they've got no chances at making it through, or no chances to fail, I should say.
Exactly. And as we're getting ready for this 1v1, Rookie gonna be on the Murder Bridge up against Care. Care is a player that has struggled a little bit to start the LPL year, I'll say, Redude. And I wonder, do you think that momentum is a thing in these 1v1s? Do you think a player can win a 1v1 and then carry that momentum into the series? Because I imagine you have to be feeling pretty good if you get your team side select.
I think the momentum in 1v1s specifically, maybe not so much a thing, but taking the 1v1 into the best of 5, definitely. I would put money on the fact that it's a good idea that you can, roll that momentum into the best of 5 series. So this 1v1, whilst it is only 4 side select, will have a little bit of a bearing on how it plays out, how the lanes play out as well, I'd like to say.
Yeah, and the best part about winning the 1v1 is that you don't have to ban Skarner. As Skarner has been banned literally every game. 82 games. He has not been available for any of them. I wonder if that's going to change once LPL gets to the next patch. There were some Skarner nerfs in that patch. I still see some areas that are playing on that current patch still banning out the Skarner, so we'll see. And we are getting a real treat here, Rudude. We're going to see Rookie Zed
versus Care Poppy? Question mark.
Oh,
like,
goodness,
what is
bro.
this? What is this 1v1 matchup? This is definitely a new one, and I fear for Rookie. To be honest, it's Black Cleaver Rush, and then I'm not sure what happens next.
Yo, wait a minute.
Yeah,
he's just gonna oh my God, Care's just gonna wait until the Ring of Fire goes all the way through, and he's just gotta bonk Rookie out of it. That's all he's got to do.
So Rookie needs to save ulti or save shadow, because Zed has a lot of dodging, right? Like, it's a lot of ways that he can make sure that is not as easy a possibility. So you've got to keep your eyes on where those cooldowns are going, and with the triple shadows down that you can effectively have on Zed when you reach level 6, it could be a little tricky. It's worth saying. So Care gonna have to play some nice predicting games, I guess, or maybe some layering of CC more so than anything else. But also what you can do is, even if you just use the shoulder charge to push them into the fire, you end up a little bit in it as well, but not as much.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe he'll just charge, as you said, charge him into the wall, and then, or not into the wall, into the fire, and then just use his regular part of his ultimate just to knock him up quickly.
Yeah.
And that could be enough to keep him out. Depends on what the health bars are going to look like. No surprise that Care is going to opt into a very armor heavy build. You just pretty much need to make sure you don't die before you get to the fire.
And you can already see Rookie trade double shurikens, lovely stuff coming through. But double Dorans, I think he knows that it has to be early where he takes his fights. before, quote, ideally before the Poppy has stacked up a lot of armor, but unfortunately in this mode it's going to happen relatively early on, and at the moment Rookie looking not too bad in these trades, but Care with the double potion as well is going to be able to sustain up quite nicely. I think that this is as well one of these situations where Rookie might actually be able to farm a CS win also if he's like really solid on the CSing. Poppy not going to feel too punishing early on with the way that these trades are looking. Looks like Rookie is getting the better part of it, and Care is kind of saving his spells for retaliation more than engaging those fights. So Rookie, I think, might look towards getting that CS advantage as well. Zed, a champion with his passive, very easy to last hit on as well.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe that's the victory Rookie's going to look for, right? Because I don't necessarily think you're going to win the 1v1 in the Ring of Fire. You know, Zed obviously can pump out quite a bit of damage, but not known as a tank killer, right? So I think Rookie at this point in time should just be content to trade HP for CS. Especially with the double Dorans, you've got that little bit of sustain. As Care shoving him out, no sharing here.
Unfortunately, it means that he missed the heal as well, which is not the way the Poppy needs this matchup to be going right now, because he's, you know, getting a little bit handsed in the trades, and he's looking for this.
Oh my goodness! Actually, Rookie getting a nice little shield there from the barrier. Ignite gets dropped down. Everybody is okay, but that did look a little testy for a little bit.
Yeah, Rudude says he's getting hands checked in the trades. Care, am I? Hold on 1 second. Let me show you what this looks like. And then immediately starts winning trades, forces both sums out of Rookie as well, where Care still has the Ignite. So, again, now we've hit that level 6 marker. The Zed is going to have a lot more maneuverability. The Poppy as well, though, going to have a lot more disengage.
Care, more like, I don't care. I'm going to win these trades. As he's opened a small CS lead, goes back, gets his plated steel caps. Meanwhile, Rookie, he's all in on the damage, as you should be, grabbing a pickaxe.
Like I say, in my head, Black Cleaver is the first item you'd go in this matchup. However, can't say for certain that that's going to be the build path for Rookie. Obviously, I mean, AD builds and lethality builds, bruiser builds in general, it's so difficult to tell anyway because longsword builds into everything, so we'll figure that out a little bit later on. But plated steel caps picked up for Care, nice and safe on this Poppy now, you'd like to think. So a lot of armor already picked up, not so much on the health department, so looking at whether or not health will be a bit of a factor. Rookie, though, should be quite happy to get this wave crashed in, and off of this next wave as well, may even look for another recall.
His CS is progressing fairly nicely. I think he's in a really good spot if that's the victory he's looking for. Should be the victory he's looking for. But again, taking so much damage here, dealing so little on the way back, it's going to be a lot harder. He's going to need to squeeze every bit of CS that he can. You saw he just missed one on that auto attack. Every single one you drop is detrimental. You put yourself at threat of getting chunked lower, and if you're not there actively CSing, you're going to drop CS. Just like there's another -1 there because you can't get close.
Yeah, I mean, now that Care's slightly whiffed on the combo, feels confident to step back up, but you are quite right here. With the HP deficit, Care now starting to close that gap, and Rookie, I think, in a bit of a tricky position, going to be waiting very much so for that first item to come through and look for the all-in as the Ring of Fire falls around them, because like at this point, I think the CS win is probably a little bit out of contention, and Rookie definitely getting bullied away from all of these creeps.
Yeah, Care is doing a really, really good job. He decided not to pick a flashy champion. You know what? Sometimes in the 1v1s, there's two kinds of players we've seen so far. I want to pick some really, really cool stuff that I want to win with, and then meta slaves. You know, champion players that may be like, you know what? I'm going to pick good, solid 1v1 champions that have, you know, unique abilities. We saw the Lee Sin a couple of days ago that was kicking people out of the Ring of Fire, and Poppy certainly fits that description.
No, exactly, right, and I mean, Alistair as well, like all of these displacement champions may end up making themselves a bit of a return. Care now, I think he's threatening, yeah. Barrier onto Rookie.
Yeah, just to grab as much CS as he can, but he can't even stick around for most of it. Yeah, he's got a small lead, but Rudude, I'm starting to not see a path for the mid laner for IG here.
Maybe on Eclipse Shield, he has a bit of a timer to make a play and, you know, can trade aggressively versus Buckler, but it's going to be a little bit difficult for the Zed. That is for sure. Rookie making his way back out, doesn't even wait for all of his HP to come back. Frozen Heart now for Care.
Oh my goodness.
Rookie, my good sir, I do not envy you.
No, this is a Zed's worst nightmare. You know, when you block in Zed, you B1 Zed in solo queue, and then for some reason the entire enemy team decides to go full tank everywhere. A really difficult AD carry to kill or something like that.
Swain AD carry, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. A rookie is really just in the infinite Tsukiyomi here. There's a 1v1. Rookie's been ignited. He does not have the barrier. I think Garrett's just going to straight up kill him. Rookie drops the ultimate down, try to do what he can, but he's going to do so little damage.
The death mark exclusively eaten up by the buckler there. Not what you want to see if you're a rookie. And yeah, the Eclipse, the shielding probably saved his life. However, he's not been able to really find any purchase in this fight. Still got a minute or so before the ring starts closing, and Kerr going to get his final recall in, even has an extra longsword, a little bit of HP in the back pocket as well. That turns into a tunneler. Yep, there you go. Going to be in a pretty good spot as well. Rookie might like to just pick up the majority of this wave and see what he can do with this now. I mean, in this position, down a level, no ultimate, the ring closing in. It's going to take a miracle, but honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see it happen anyway. There were so many 1v1s that I've already seen where I'm like, you know, how does this person end up winning? And then they do it, so we'll keep our eyes out. There's no hope for Rookie, it's just very little.
Do bigger miracle, Rookie winning this 1v1 or FPX 3-0ing to go to playoffs?
Oh, the FPX 3-0 for sure.
Are you sure about that? I think the bigger miracle would be Rookie winning this as he gets knocked down in the ring of fire.
Yeah.
See you later, bud. You see him facepalm. He couldn't avoid it. He knew that was coming from a mile away. And he gets knocked out and all smiles over on the side of FPX as they get option to pick side. I imagine they'll go to the blue side. I don't think we've ever seen a team willingly go to the red side this season.
No. What an incredible 1v1. That's just what you need to see.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. We are going to take a very short break as we noticed that there were some technical issues with the stream. Not to worry, we'll be back so shortly. Everything will be all nice and smooth, and we'll get you into the draft for Invictus Gaming and FPX soon. We'll see you in a moment or two. Told you we'd be back really, really quickly. We are here now with all the frames as we're getting into the draft between FPX and IG. And you can already see the benefits of blue side. Skarner ban for IG. What a surprise. This champion's never getting through. Maybe next match. Maybe next match.
I don't know about next patch either, buddy. I read those patch notes. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, no, he's not getting through at all. That champion is busted.
However, I like the Zyra ban. Just as a side note, I really like the way that Zyra's been sort of re-emerging in the jungle role. I think that she offers so much as a sort of defensive jungler that you can take. And this sort of suggests that FPX probably looking to do some form of engaging with their composition. Whether or not that's going to insinuate that they want Rel, Nautilus, or something of that ilk to begin with, we'll have to keep our eyes on. But so far, noticeably no Kalista ban as well. So IG might want to get rid of that if they're scared of that. Obviously, bot has not been a focus that FPX have been able to really push forward. And Kalista remains unbanned here, so it's definitely up for the taking.
Yeah, honestly, I would really like a a first pick Kalista here because Zhui had his best game on the Nico. I think there's a world where you just jam the Kalista. IG's unlikely to take the Nico at this early stage with nothing to pair with it. And then you just like slam the Nico next and just say, hey, we're throwing all our cards on the table for game one. We're going to pick the best champions and we're just going to try to win this series.
Yeah, and now for IG, right, you think Ashe probably going to be the response, typically the answer to Kalista, just because of the way that Ashe autos interact with the martial cadence from the Kalista. And if they do decide to take away that Nico, it's not a champion that can't facilitate itself, right? Proto belt at support, you can just find those engages on your own, and I think that taking it off the bat is going to be quite useful. What this does do is open up Renata for Zhui, and I think that that is also a very good answer to the Nico. You see her trying to channel and then you immediately handshake her away. You can reposition that and make it quite tricky for the Nico to do really anything in these team fights. So we'll keep our eyes on where Zhui looks to answer this Nico, expecting that Meiko is going to be the one piloting that. And instead it's the Varus for Gala, so matching a little bit of that early laning power, but I think that Kalista should still be looking to have the run of things in the AD carry 1-1.
I kind of thought they were just going to hate draft Nico and Renata and just say, you know what, we are showing you all of our cards. You are getting no good pairings. You may have no oats. Good day, sir. Obviously not going to be the case here. We'll see what the move is for FPX. They'll go into the Vi here. Really great stock standard pick. Perfect to sequester out that Varus with the ultimate. And wonder if we'll see one of her strong mid lane pairings, you know, Talia, Ahri, come through in this last.
Yeah, so for Care, not being the shining spot for FPX that we'd have maybe hoped for, but taking these two ultimates already definitely has a lot of value. So there's no harm in locking a Sylas here. It is going to be blind, so is open to getting a little bit ran in this laning phase if Rookie has got something. I mean, Aurora's still open as well. Maybe you don't want to give Sylas the Aurora ulti, but I think that that is a lane bully-esque champion that Rookie has definitely shown proficiency on and might want to take into this matchup. Alternatively, FPX, they can match junglers here for fear of Wukong getting banned out. That Xin Zhao as well still open for Jie.
And Rudu, this really causes a lot of questions here for what IG wants to do, because they do have the option of flexing this Nico into the mid lane if you would like a support that's going to have more targeted CC, like a Nautilus or something like that, where you're just like, hey, we want to make sure that it's on site with this Sylas, it's on site with this Kalista.
Yeah, and that's, again, why I think that they've taken not mid or support here. They haven't revealed that flex. The opportunity to take Nico still very much present for them. What IG need to do now, I think, is ban 4. The Renekton ban versus Ambessa, first of all, feels a little bit mandated. Really the only matchup that Ambessa can't just run over and feels pretty rough to get played against as Ambessa. But whether or not they look to ban something like that Braum, like that Renata, those disengaged supports that can pair quite well with the Kalista, because so far their comp is go in, right? Public Execution is a dive dart immediate to the backline. The Nico fits that trend as well, and Chain of Corruption can spread to that backline also, so getting rid of some form of disengaged support definitely would be a wise choice for IG. Of course, if they reveal the flex on 4, then FPX know exactly what they're looking into going for the rest of the draft, but if they take their jungler, then they are keeping everything completely close to their chest, and FPX are going to have to play a little bit cautiously through the draft.
Pretty shocked that we did not see Renata ban come through for IG. So you're either picking it on R4 here and, you know, forcing your Nico into the mid lane, or you're just saying, all right, FPX, go for it. If you want to get this power duo, you can have it. And one thing about that Ambessa pick that makes me a little sad is that I think this means that we're gonna see Sheer on a tank, perhaps, and maybe elect to do some lane swapping around. I really love seeing Sheer on some carries. So Viego is gonna be locked in for IG.
Ooh. Okay, and this, I mean, if they're expecting FPX to take Renata, this is a really weird pick. Viego, a champion that thrives off of resets. Renata, a champion that prevents the resets coming through in the first place. So whether or not this is, you know, intentional, whether or not FPX even play the Renata, we'll have to keep our eyes on. But they take the jungler, right? They've not yet revealed this flex, and it's worth saying as well that the Ambessa can slot into that mid lane. The Nico goes support. The Shy then picks something now to counter the Camille. So there is a lot of flexibility still open in this IG draft. Expectation is that the Ambessa goes top lane, the Nico goes support, and this is Rookie going to be locking in something mid lane. But there is some maneuverability once again with these pieces.
All right, so we're going to see the Nautilus come through for FPX as opposed to the Renata. I must say, that is a little bit surprising, but it does give you the ability to, have another single target ultimate to go after these big carries like the Ambessa and like the Viego. So, I kind of see what they're doing with it, and I don't hate it. I think this is actually pretty solid.
I mean, this is really good to kill one target, and what I would love to see actually is this Galio slotted into support. Whether or not that actually ends up happening, we'll keep our eyes out for, because I think that Mako has been really solid with his engages moving into the latter series that we got to see. So keeping him on the Nico seems a little bit to fit that brief a little bit more. But Galio versus Nautilus, not a good matchup for the Nautilus, and just in general, it's going to be really tricky for both Shadow and Jue to find those key engages, because the second Shadow engages onto one target, they're going to get Galio ulted. They are going to be saved and given that peel that you'd like to see from as an AD carry from your team. But also, this is not going to be easy to be played out for if you're bot either, right? He's got so much pressure of dodging public execution, and if he doesn't, then there's a Galio on top of him as well. So the tools and the versatility of this Galio, I'm really pleased with for IG.
Have a look at the predictions that we have here. Most of us for 3-1 for IG. Camcom, our producer, prefers the magic of a 3-0 for FPX, and I must say, I hope I kind of hope their prediction comes to pass. I like both of these timelines, right? I love when good teams with good players see success and they start to come together after a bit of turbulence so far. But FPX is a good young team with a lot of pieces. They're very hungry, and I would also love to see them in. I hate how fence sitting and non-committal it is, but I honestly just really love League of Legends. All right.
So, I mean, to give some clarity on my 3-1 prediction, I suppose, IG have not shown me that they are a 3-0ing team just yet. They had a struggle versus NIP. They had a struggle versus RNG. They need to 3-0 this series. They just haven't shown me that they can. And that's why I've gone for 3-1. I expect them to lose a game in this series, and they need to upset those expectations if there's going to be any hope of them making first stand.
Well, let's see what the move is here in this series. FPX must sweep IG to make the playoffs. IG just got to win a singular game, Rude, and they are locked in as we're on to Summoner's Rift. One thing that I really want to talk about is FPX willingly drafting 4 melee champions into a Nico and knowing that also Galio is an option. This is going to be so hard for them to wade through the team fights.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that. The beginning of Nico's arc was, when she was mainly a mid laner and would play so frequently as the bully mid lane pick to try and facilitate early game success. You would pick it as a disengage champ, right? You see a lot of people engaging on you. You would just pick it to stop people's engagements. But now, Proto Belt exists, we've got a bit more aggressive, people using Flash as well, so we've turned the tides a little bit, but that identity of the champion hasn't changed. She's still very good when teams look to dive on her because of that Pot Blossom.
Love that we don't have a lane swap here. The double range bot lane of IG looking to try and shut down the sheer power of Kalista. Bot and Jue already getting chunked out a little bit. They're going to need to really tighten it up. Make sure that this Kalista can get into, the 10 to 12 minute mark unscathed, so these skirmishes can go the way they're going to want it to.
And importantly as well, Gala with that Arcane Comet definitely insinuating that he's going to be opting towards the lethality style of Varus, a bit of an Eastern classic almost with the LPL. Just so many good poke Varus players, right? So definitely safe to say that IG have the fan vote. But what this means for the IG composition is that their damage is going to need to come a little bit more from the rest of the map as well. JJ on the Viego, the Shy on Ambessa. These are two champions that can deal meaningful damage and can be really terrifying when they get ahead. So Gala, I'd like to say this game, not as much pressure on them to have the be-all and end-all of a performance, but you are looking more at JJ, at the Shy, maybe even at Rookie as well on this Galio at 2 items to be that DPS threat.
Goodness, you can see the chunk down there from Gala and Mako. It's going to be rough for these guys, Bot and Joy. But again, if they're just able to hang in there, they should be okay. Sheer is taking quite a bit of damage into this Ambessa. Really 3 huge threat carries for FPX. They're just going to need to get the job done. This Care gets taken so low, man. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about the Galio into Nautilus matchup being good. Turns out the Galio into Silas one also pretty decent as well. So Care definitely feeling the ramifications of that in this laning phase. And for the most part, IG kind of winning on all 3 sides, it looks like. And now JJ looking to make an early move down to this bot side, forcing bot off of this turret. Rookie going to be able to justice punch his way away from Shadow, and Kalista missing a big wave under the turret. Not a good start.
No, it's really pick your poison here for Shadow. He didn't have a whole lot of good places to go. You either bail out your bottom laner or try to bail out your mid laner, and none of them are particularly great, as JJ is hovering around, but won't be able to get toward Care as he's stuck under the turret.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a hover there to look for a flash kill combo, but expecting Care to not be able to either eat or flash out of that. Definitely not the caliber of player that we're looking at in the LPL. So Care able to stave off the approach a little bit earlier on. And now as well, Rookie relatively low on mana, so Care can feel a little bit safer in this lane to step up to take these trades, even though he's only 250 HP. The Galio doesn't have the mana to be able to find lethal damage, so they're going to pick up this wave, trade their recalls, and Rookie, as we would expect from a Galio, nice and easy, double Ruby Crystal.
Grub's in about a minute here, so we're going to see the bottom lane of IG shift up to the top side. Really, I think this is a scenario where IG should have pretty free reign over the Grubs. They might use this opportunity to get stuff on bot, as Sheer will take quite a bit of damage. Shui is on the way. Maybe he'll throw a hook and it won't quite land, so I respect the attempt, but you've got Kalista, you've got this power pick, and you're unfortunately not going to be able to really get toward the Grubs. That is really tough pill to swallow, even though they're not really the greatest Grubs team. Silas is a pretty solid split pusher. I'm sure the Camille would love it, but I don't know if you can opt into it at this point.
So, no, I mean, you are going to struggle as FPX to try and take it, that's for sure, and that's not great. That's not what you're looking at. I mean, Berserker Boots picked up for the Kalista. That's her first really big spike, and it does come quite early, which is one of those reasons we typically say Kalista a pretty decent early game champion. But the way that IG had just been playing out that 2v2, hold on, the Shy's mid.
Yeah, making a nice play onto Care, trying to shove him off, especially with no TP, just to further secure those Grubs. You see Rookie shift up, make sure that JJ has no problems. It'll be 3 Grubs going over to IG.
And again, with that going down, it's probably going to force Spot off of another wave. Some more experience lost from the Kalista. You can already see Gala, level 5. The Kalista is only level 4, and this is another set of minions dying under the turret that the FPX bot lane just aren't going to be able to pick up. And it's this continual movement of pressure, this constant weak siding of the Kalista that's going to struggle.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for it there. Care has the public execution. You need to make a play soon to offset your Kalista struggling. FPX trying to move in back to their top side of the map. Many pings are down, but it feels like they might be outgunned.
Yeah, this isn't their side of the jungle right now. They kind of just need to give this the Shy, maybe the collapse.
Nice flash there by the Shy to get out. So good resources burnt, but FPX losing a lot more than they're gaining.
Yep, and this is IG just splitting the map really solidly at the minute, and maybe they're going to look also.
I love it. They're going to rip it right on the Shy after burning that flash. First blood to Care.
Yeah, 4 people going down in that mid lane. A good overload from FPX to try and find something backhand as well. Bot is going to be able to find some plates. Yes, it's with Jway, but even still, getting a little bit of gold here is better than the no gold they were going to be getting in the top lane. Worth mentioning as well that this entire time Shia was able to find a few plates, or at least a little bit of free time down on that bot side. So the Camille, who we'd seen formerly struggling a little bit in the 1v1 versus the Ambessa, got a little bit of free time, was able to pick up some gold back, and should now be able to fight a little bit easier versus this Ambessa.
Yeah,
got one plate as well.
Yeah, once he gets that back off, it's going to be pretty nice. You know, FPX, they're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting on the other sides of the map. Going to need to see more plays like that come out of Shadow on flashless targets. I'd love to see them go after the Shy again, because you really need to make up for how far behind Bot is right now. Nearly 30 CS. You know, obviously not what you want to see, but glimmers of hope.
I think that the beauty of this FPX composition is that their top side is also triple carry, right? They've got Camille, Vi, Silas. So just because my Kalista may not be in the best position in the world, I've still got 3 carries. And, you know, at some point, it may just be a play to go, okay, Kalista, unfortunately, buddy, you're an ult bot this game. Bot, you know, press R, and we'll try and engage with Jue with that. But we're going to start funneling resources into Sheer, into Care, and seeing what they can do, because the Camille side lane prowess, we know it, we love it, and I think that versus an Ambessa as well, a champion with so much mobility, that Hextech Ultimatum definitely has its power, and you can really use that, really leverage it into a 1v1, into a side lane advantage.
Bot gonna chill out in the mid lane here, lane against Rookie, get some EXPs. Now level 6 is a small tussle over the top crab. And we'll go over to FPX's Grubs. Second set coming in about a minute. I don't know. I think FPX could fancy themselves a fight for this one.
I think they're going to want to, and that's probably going to be one of the first breakpoints. But it all comes down to who's got the best setup currently, and in the space of the next 50 seconds, how well can IG clear out this vision? Because there's double pink wards scattered throughout the river. Mako's already taken one down, knows where the second one is to go and take it as well. So the question then becomes, what is it that IG look to do? Because it does feel like they're the ones on the front foot. Even the Shy, you can see actually with a level advantage over Sheer. So not the worst place in the world for the FPX squad to be, but equally, IG, they still have control. And for the most part, looks like Jue placing this slightly shallower vision. You can see the green wards from IG just slightly in the jungle, so they're spotting those rotations that little bit earlier, whereas for FPX, they're just getting them baseline in the river.
Care just finished his rocket belt. He's got the Galio ultimate, so you want to leverage the strength of a completed first item, go for it. See if FPX is able to do so, as the Grubs have a spawn. A bit of jockeying around in the mid lane for positioning. Going to be hard for Jue and Bot. They're still up against Gala and Mako in the double poke. Every little bit that you get whittled down is control that you lose.
And I think that Rookie as well now is just going to be unkillable for the next fight specifically. So this Galio finished first item, just so tanky already that they may have to concede it based off of the first item picked up for the Galio itself. They don't agree. Looks like Shadow starting up the first set of Grubs, or the second set of Grubs, the first one to be taken out. So they're going to deny 6 Grubs at the very least.
Mako trying to find a way in. Rookie off to the side, getting sequestered, and he's in a 4v1. They go after the weak side. Very decisive by FPX.
Yeah, and they collapse on that flank. It looks like there's been a teleport.
Here we go! Cheer. Over the wall, on top of Gala. He's getting knocked off the Pop Blossom to Pie room, but Gala's got a flash, and he's going to go down. Care gets that kill. They're looking for more, but FPX, they get a lot.
Camille Galio combo is very strong, especially when that Galio has the damage of a Silas. Taking down Gala through flash. Didn't even look to bend the barrier in the end, just knew that he was far too little too late to that. And Shia getting the use out of that TP advantage. It took them, 3-4 minutes to make it work, but finally they were able to find that kill and find that leverage gold back in their favor. FPX 3-0 start now. Feat of Warfare already secured. Now they're going to be that contest for the Dragon down on the bot side, and here's a little glimpse at that replay. Really solid stuff from FPX. They collapse on the weak side of the flank. Just one member here. I commented that Rookie would be invincible, would be Thanos in this fight. Not when he's got no teammates and no support.
Yeah, the Avengers just show up and beat the tar out of him, and then Sheer with this wonderful flank right onto Gala. Mako can do nothing but buy space, and Jeja is unable to do anything in that fight. He was just, it felt like a spectator.
yeah, I mean, on the Viego, right, going in through the front, it's so difficult sometimes, especially when you've got nobody supporting you, importantly. Rookie would have been the perfect diving buddy. The Shy also, he's got a lot of tools in the composition, but in that fight setup right there, nobody was ready.
I love what FPX have been doing, especially Shadow. Snappy on these engages. Care is now 2-0. A really good spot to snowball the game into their favor, Rude Dude. Now 3 minutes until the next objective is going to come up. What's the move for FPX to increase their lead and their foothold in this game?
The issue I have is that Care versus Rookie is a really tricky matchup for the Silas right now. Trying to punish the Galio is going to take so many resources, and in fairness, the resources they're willing to give as they burn Rookie's flash up on that top side. But you talked about it perfectly, Yanni. They want to continue Care's snowball on that 2-0-1 marker, so it's an overload top side and bot side. We're splitting the map once again where these teams are just happy to trade resources, but this is the turret, the first turret working towards those feats that is going to fall in favor of IG. Another wave coming down, and the benefit of having 4 of those grubs versus 2. That's first brick that goes in favor of Invictus Gaming, and even though the kill score reads 3-0, that gold lead is dead even.
And not only that, it's split across the members you want it on. It goes to your Viego, your Varus, your Mbessa, and they're going to look for a second one as well. That's going to be detrimental to FPX because these carries are now so accelerated.
Yeah, I mean, 200 gold for everybody that was present there is now Shadow.
Oh no, bro. They make a 5-man play onto the FPX jungler, and this could be the moment that IG says we're not messing around.
And it's so difficult to walk back into your jungle like that. I think that Shadow just clearly a little too ambitious with his pathing. You've had no control over this bot side for the last 2 minutes. Your entire focus was to split the map, to play on this top side, and the idea of trying to take back control without the support of your Nautilus or your Silas or really anybody there is not the correct one, unfortunately. Shadow does end up paying that price. Moving in, though, IG, really solid sequence of plays where they just recognize, okay, well, we've got more members here, we do more damage to these turrets, and we've got the grubs as well. What have we got to lose? And, you know, the answer was a tier 1 turret, but what they gained was tier 1 and tier 2 down on that bot side. Now, who does that end up favoring? Obviously, in the short term, all of the gold is going to be really solid for IG, but I do fear for the Ambessa still in this side lane. Shears finished off that Trinity Force. Might struggle in the 1v1 versus the Ambessa still, as the Tunneler is there, but at some stage, these long lanes are going to begin to benefit the Camille.
And now with 35 seconds before the Heralds, IG is now on their first item spike, so much more even than that previous fight. As long as they're in a position where they do not allow their weak side of their pincer, if they want to go for another pincer play, to get exposed, you know, they'll be in a good spot if they don't do that. If they're like, hey, you know what, we're going 3-2 or something like that.
And again, remember the stakes of this series. If you've just joined us, if you missed the pre-show, FPX need a 3-0. They need to sweep IG to make it out of the group. It's still possible. Even though they're 0-2, a 3-0 in this series secures them second place in the group and takes them to playoffs. IG, though, they need just one game win to secure themselves that second seed and that second spot in the playoffs. So a lot on the line in this game one. FPX have got 3 consecutive can't lose games that they are playing for, and now around this Herald, they're looking to make a stand.
IG not looking to let this one go. Sheer is off on the side. Keep an eye on him. Just poking his head through. The hook goes down onto Zhizhe. He's going to get targeted out. Rookie manages to try to get to the back line. Shy is over the wall. Here comes the Pop Blossom. Again, it's just buying space. Rookie manages to escape, but the re-engages onto the Shy. And now they're going to turn all the way onto Care, who's chunked out Sheer.
On Gala.
Onto the back line, onto Gala. Here comes Care flying in with the knock-up. They find Gala. They find Rookie too. It's a double kill for Sheer. And IG is falling apart at the seams. Bot's getting free reign to auto-attack around. JJ is stuck in a 3v1. He ults over the wall. He's trying to escape. Camille will let him off the hook. A 3-for-2 for FPX.
It's do or die in game one for FPX, and they are certainly doing all that they can. They find themselves a great fight around that Rift Herald, securing the objective as well. So Shadow going to have that Rift Herald in his back pocket. They break open mid-tier 1, and we get to see once again the power of this stolen Galio ultimate. A great engage on both sides. Rookie buying space with the Idol of Durand, keeping his backline safe, and then Shia really opening up to give this fight over to FPX. Hook shots onto Gala and makes the Galio ulti as well happen. It's actually the flash that gets him into that backline. But you can see how little Avaris can do. What counterplay does he have? He flashes, he barriers, he still gets killed. And it's again credit, in fairness, to Jidja and the Shy. But we're going again.
We're fighting again. The Shy going to get chunked low as well as Kara. Teleport going to be forced out from Rookie. And the dust will settle, but a critical summoner spell getting burnt by IG.
So in the replay there, IG did secure the Dragon, which secures them feats of strength. That's the third marker on the objectives. FPX weren't able to get back out in time to stop the Dragon going down, and I think that that teleport was a dissuasion from a fight that FPX would have been looking for. Now, moving into this top side, FPX going to be down those boots as we get into the hyper late game, but looking at these items now for some crucial carries. You know, top, mid, and AD both have 2 kills and are both very close to that second item spike. Worth mentioning that the Shy already there. He's already got that Eclipse, that Spear of Shojin, so the Ambessa at this stage currently very, very strong.
Shadow gonna smite away JJ's red buff. Very nice there. Just a little bit of skirmishing. You saw a lot of pings. I think IG wanted a piece of that one, but they're not going to be able to get it. And Rudu, 19 minutes into this game, I've been really impressed with what FPX has been able to put together. If they continue to play fights the way they are in good shape. Mako is going to need to step up over on the side of IG. His ultimates have been space creators, but we need a little bit more.
Yeah, you're quite right. The fight that we got to see around that Rift Herald, he was, you know, just creating space, a zoning ultimate, so to say. Didn't quite manage to land onto anybody. Did force a flash, but with the Mako, you know, he giveth and he taketh away. And I think that so far this game, he hasn't necessarily done either for the most part, but he needs to start giving a bit more back to his team. This denial of the Kalista-Nico combo has to come at some sort of a cost, and looks like it's going to be Jouet the focus for the time being, but Jidja lurking in the wings, just making sure that his support's able to clear out these wards. Atacon spawning in 5 seconds time up on this top side with a lot of focus from both teams down toward the bot lane. Could be quite the while before we end up seeing this Atacon actually focused out to be taken down.
See if IG wants to take that fight, or if FPX wants to force it. They're still very strong, and really a big comeback story from Bot in this game. Not sure if you saw the CS before the graphics showed up. He was only about 6 CS behind, if my eyes don't deceive me. 2-0-3 has really had a miraculous recovery with the space that he has been bought. He has been given every opportunity to come back in the game, and he has taken advantage.
Yeah, I mean, these team fights really have just been relatively excellently played. Doesn't feel like Bot has been given too many resources through this game as FPX, but has still managed to find a way back in. And I think that just transitioning the Kalista into the mid lane really facilitated that quite a lot, because it wasn't as easy to punish. And, you know, forcing off of a mid wave is so much more difficult than forcing off of any side lane turret, just based on where your jungler can or can't be. But now FPX, with this really solid 2-item spike, should be looking to take this Atacon. We've got Sterax, Protobelt Riftmaker, plus the core for a Kalista, the apex build path that she ever reaches for single target damage, finished up. Now is your time to start taking these objectives. Tier 1 in the bot side should be after the Atacon, but you can see IG have no interest in fighting over that top side objective, and FPX should just be able to try and take this one for free.
It always feels bad for the team that's the first to start Otacon. They typically lose if there is a contest. And to see a Rift Herald dropped in the mid lane here. It's going to be unpiloted, so it looks like we're going to see a top lane play.
Yeah, I'm not certain about this Rift Herald. Usually you do this to buy time, right, to start up this Atacon. And now they finally got to it, but remember, this is Rookie clearing the mid wave, clearing Atacon out. He's got ulti to get in. Looking at that bot lane as well, Sheer looking to walk his way up to the top side, where the Shy, sticking around, has teleport to get up there if they need. And FPX, as you alluded to, recognised that starting the Atacon a little bit dangerous, especially versus a Viego as well.
They're going to try to make a transition play onto Rookie. The question is, do they have the damage between Shadow and Care? Because Rookie is real tanky. Flash is burnt, but he catches him with the Abscond Abduct, and down he goes. Shadow gets credit for the kill. Teleport in for the Mbessa, and the Shy is unable to get more.
And that's nothing there for IG, so the Shy has no TP. Now Sheer can push in some waves down on that bot side, probably take that tier 1. FPX, if they just do a dance around the Atacon to keep the Shy engaged, they don't actually have to take anything. They can just look to take this bot lane tier 1 turret. Drake spawning as well, 10 seconds time. A much less commitment required objective if you head up toward this top side. And now Zhui just having a little fish.
Oh no, he's going for the Marlin as he targets Gala. Flying in is Sheer. The Pop Blossom will finally get a few, but down goes Viego. And Bessa trying to do what she can to the back line as the Shy is getting taken low. Teleport coming through. Zhui falls, and IG turns it around on FPX as Rookie leads the way. Unable to land a taunt as Bot will be able to escape, but disaster strikes for FPX.
And it's the two unsung heroes of IG this game, the Shy and Mako. Come up huge in that team fight to stop FPX in their tracks. They will take this mid-tier 1 turret in response. They will take that dragon and put themselves to soul point. And just like that, all the goodwill, all of the power that FPX had in this game is wiped out.
Now they're going to be really under the gun, Rude Dude, because if IG manage to get the soul next, it'll be very difficult to kill a champion like this Galio. This play that you're seeing here will be a near impossibility next time.
Yeah, without some form of anti-heal, it's going to be a disastrous time for FPX. Love those max range chains, but it's the follow-on from this that is really important. Zhui flashes in, gets the knock-up onto Gala, but look at this chain. Stops the Silas being able to get onto the back, and a massive Pot Blossom as well. Roots the 3 members of the front line up in time, and means that they can't get access to Gala, to Mako. And a great arrow again is just finding target again and again. Gala playing this fight exceptionally well. The support from Mako, the damage from the Shy, the space that he bought as well, all working so well together.
Yeah, the Shy did a great job neutralizing Sheer in that fight after the Sheer had that big engage. And this Camille is really only able to affect a small portion of the fight for how strong Sheer is. Any impact that you can minimize is really fantastic. We're seeing Care split on the bottom side. Meanwhile, IG, they have started the Otacon.
Oh yeah, I mean, Care has got teleport, so if you can take this and get there in time, there's a world where a fight may well be had. Double sums available for Gala.
So
that target that they've been looking for.
Down to 3,000 HP. Mako with a big Pop Blossom on the multiple, and the Shy is ready to go to work. Mako will fall. They're on top of the Shy. See Rookie trying to charge for more as the Otacon has been secured for IG. Way down to half. Oh, the taunt doesn't quite land as Care and Sheer are able to escape, but they get the prize as IG.
Yeah, so they get 1 for 1 here, and the Atacon buff. They're probably going to leverage this into several turrets as well. This tier 1, the first up on the chopping block. And FPX, they do well to recognize, okay, well, we don't have Atacon, so we can't really fight. But that means that they have to walk away from a situation once again with this really mid-game focused composition where they would probably love to have been fighting that, but unfortunately just don't have the ability to do so. And what this means for IG, the overlap on the timers is they're going to have so much time to set up on that bot side. Mako again, triple stun with the Pot Blossom. Again, giving Gala all of this free time, who you can see in the backline is nowhere near even being touched. The Edge of Night even still ready for him. So he's just not even caught a spell, and auto really not doing too much damage. And I love the Edge of Night pickup for Gala as well. It slightly augments how Sheer has to play these team fights. It forces that extra layer of thoughts going into his mind where, okay, if I'm going to get picked off by the Camille, she's going to have to tactical sweep first, and then look for the hook shot, then look for the ulti. You know, for Shadow, I think it's a little bit more simple. You call cease and desist, and you typically can smite that Edge of Night off. But you see Gala, he's stepping forward quite aggressively at this stage, but why wouldn't he?
And Shadow was locked up in that fight, by the way. Mako landing the knock-up, Rookie with the taunt. The last time I saw a Vi locked up that badly, she was asked if all of the guards were needed at the Hex Gates. Spoiler alert, they were not, as IG taking control of this top side, looking toward the Baron with their false life buff. It's been started up, but does a hell of a lot of damage to JJ.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just looking for a turn here. Even if the fight doesn't go tremendously, if they pick up a couple of people, they can use that tempo to find the Baron after.
Beautiful. They find the support. They find Care. He's got a flash, but he's got to escape. He's got nothing left. Shadow is on the back line, and Sheer teleports in. Hextech Ultimatum sends one back to the base as FPX end up sending a couple back, and they lose Zhui for it.
I mean, honestly, that's fine for FPX. They get them off the Baron. They burn a couple of these false lives, and the Shy just barely able to keep his alive also. Maybe they're going to look for another re-engage.
They are. They want the Shy. Yes, it has fallen off. Rookie gets on top of Sheer. The Shy is still alive. Rookie flashes away. Mako's full HP, and they catch Shadow, and the damage is there. The Shy takes him out.
And again, this just the difference in tempo that the Atacon gave them. For that split second, Gala, even though he gets taken out by Hextech Ultimatum, he can come back in such a short window. He's back in that fight, and it means that now they can start up this Baron. Like I was saying, the fight doesn't have to go perfect. The fight doesn't even have to go well. It just has to go and get a couple of kills, and that's exactly what they did. Zhui taken down, Shadow taken down. No wards, no jungler, Baron secured.
FPX are witnessing this game slip through their fingers, Rude Dude. They had such a cushion with kills and gold. They were unable to convert their lead. Now behind the 8-ball, staring down this Baron. This dragon has spawned. IG is on the way.
And again, Shadow's only just made his way out of the base. Even trying to start this up is difficult in its own right. But they need to try. They need to stop this Soul from going down. This is the last-ditch effort for FPX. And you can see Shadow, he's spotting out the flank. Kalista on one side, so you've got an element of a smite secure, but it's not going to be easy.
Well, the Shadow is unable to get toward the Shy. They just feel not as decisive as they once were. Off to the side, Sheer has been spotted. He's trying to get away, and he will. The public execution, and here comes the Galio to spread the fight out. Care and Shadow off to the side. They've taken out Sheer. Care going to be the next target on this front line. The public execution, he gets to Gala, but Gala's still alive. Care has to run scared, but he goes back in, and he finds a kill on Mako, but they will take him down. IG win another fight. They're going to get the Soul, and FPX, their last stand is a folly.
It's a 4-for-1, and IG have all but secured their second spot in the playoffs with that fight. Ocean Soul at their back, 4-for-1 in their favor. The only person to limp away was Bot, as he can't do anything versus the Shy. 3 levels down. Sterax wasn't even popped in that fight. We get a replay. Just look at what the Shy is doing to this Kalista down in the bot side of this skirmish. Absolutely disgusting. And then the rest of FPX just don't have what it takes to get on top of any crucial carries. It's IG that start this fight. It's the Shy that starts it. Dodges out on the chain, the abscond abduct. And what does Bot do in this situation? He's max DPSing the Shy and taking him down not even a half of his HP. And then the other side of this fight, Care, doing again pretty much what he can on the Sylas. Knows if he goes any deeper, he's going to get collapsed on by the rest of the team. But still not quite enough in the tank. And Gala, again positioning appropriately, keeping his space from the abscond and making sure that he's not going down in these fights without a fight.
IG decisive. The Shy just says, I'm going in. And Rookie says, I'll follow you too. That combo is strong as they try to make a play onto the Mbessa. Good overload there by FPX. They get the shutdown, but they're going to lose so much.
Yeah, and this is one of those good deaths that we like to call them, where your team is getting things on the other side of the map. FPX, though, they're looking for more, and with Baron recalls, they might not be able to get them.
I think you have to try at this point, Rude Dude. You got a 5v4 advantage. I think you just have to rip it. Shadow lying in wait. Sheer and Zhui getting poked out. Here we go. The target is there. Mako with the Pop Blossom trying to buy room. Here comes Care with the Skull and Galio ult as Gala is low. He's getting protected, but he finally falls. But the health bars are so low for the side of FPX as they begin to fall. JJ able to finally take over. He's got a triple. He's got a quadra. He's looking for the penta. Bot is hopping away as best as he can, and he's trying to get away. JJ has to back off. We will not see a penta today.
It's so close, and the reset composition very nearly does exactly what it needs to do. And even still, in this 2 versus 1, there's no chance that bot can defend this. The inhibitor's going to fall. Again, reminder, that was a 4 versus 5 for IG. They were down a member. The Shy had no part in that, and they still came out on top.
JJ finally has his moment in this game. We've talked about everybody else a ton, Rudude, but JJ, the one picking up 4 kills, the last carry standing.
Yeah, and IG, they play it so well. They know that they're going to hyper-focus Gala. The issue with that is that you're leaving the Viego, who's been so frequently undervalued in this game, and for JJ as well, a player who this season so far hasn't had the highlights we were expecting. This is exactly what was necessary for him to start coming back alive, and for us to see that resurgence of IG from the jungler is exactly what is needed in this series to restore that faith that this IG ideal going into 2025 was warranted and was a good idea in itself. Now FPX, again, a game that they must win. A 3-0 is the only way they make it to playoffs. If IG take even a single game, they cement their spot. FPX fighting for their lives, and IG just constantly battering them down.
FPX has not lost yet. Things are grim, Rude Dude. They've lost a lot of structures and they're down a lot of gold, but they are still in this game of League of Legends. We'll see if their never say die attitude can shine through, as Xue has been caught. He will escape, luckily. Look a little hairy there, but you're not going to get too many of those.
Yeah, we need to see. Basically, we're waiting for Care to steal away the Galio ulti again. That's the trigger for FPX. That's how they found the best amount of opportunity in these fights.
Mako! Big 3-man Pop Blossom as Rookie flies in, and down goes Kalista. Down goes Xue. Sheer doing what he can. They find Gala, the stolen Pop Blossom, but a lot of people are golden and not a lot of damage is coming out. JJ will fall, but the health bars are just too low. IG's on the inside of FPX's base, and when you're on the outside of your base, typically that means the fight ain't going so hot, Rude Dude, as Shadow may be picked off in a moment. He will escape. The teleport has to come through for Sheer to find a way back as the first Nexus turret falls. The second Nexus turret is getting low. It's a 3v2. You got to make the miracle play happen. They blow up Rookie, but the Shy is just a little too strong. Shadow and auto away. He will fall, and Sheer still alive.
They've done it though.
Yes, they've defended for right now, but for how long? The Shy takes a lot of damage. Sheer starting to do a lot. The hook goes down. You need to blow him up. The shields are strong. The healing is there. Bot pulling him back with the Fate Sealed, trying to root him down, and Bot trying to skewer him, but Sheer dies, and the Shy's still alive, and the Pop Blossom's here! The Shy lives! The Shy lives! Mako is getting skewered by Bot as he's starting to get strong, but somehow, some way, the Shy escapes.
Sterak's Ocean Soul and a heal from Mako keeps the Ambessa alive. Level 18, now going to be 4 items. This Ambessa just refuses to die, buying so much space, not just in the base, but in the fight before it as well. The Shy in this game, you mentioned it at the top of the show, Yanni. There had been so many games of the Shy on tanks, the Shy on tanks, but now on this Ambessa, we are seeing the true power of why we are so excited to see this person play these carries. Ocean Soul this game is doing so much work, and in this fight especially, what can FPX do? Again, Sheer, max DPSing, doing what he can, waiting for his precision protocol to get back in, but he's just healing the Ambessa. And then the Kalista turns up, but Mako turns it back around as well. Realizing, hold on, the Shy's got something here. I better help him out. And he does exactly that. The stun, the root comes down, and the Shy just S-keying, taunting the FPX bot lane.
The Kalista Rend left him on a sliver, but you must take them down because they will heal up till no tomorrow, Rude Dude. Shadow already chunked out. This should be the last fight. Xue is chunked out too. The Nexus is exposed. The public execution to put the exclamation point on this game. Sheer trying to do what he can. but it is in vain as he falls, and IG have locked their spot to the playoffs.
Congratulations to Invictus Gaming. The early shaky starts to this group have been put to bed for the time being. Now the question for IG is how convincing can they make this series look? Again, even in game number 1, it was a little bit shaky, a little bit ropey to start off with. FPX had an opportunity in this game to win it, but IG crucially fought back and fought hard to put themselves in the ascendancy and to give themselves game number 1, to give themselves that berth into playoffs.
Yeah, it was a really a game that showed the resiliency of IG, because give a lot of credit to FPX. FPX had a really, really strong early part of this game, and were looking like they might have done it, at least in the first game. Just snappy with every single one of their engages, but the tide managed to turn just little by little. IG would just get a little bit more in this fight, a little bit more in that fight. Then they were finally able to break open the game, and they were the ones in the driver's seat making the decisive plays. That is the reason that they are heading to the playoffs. Big ups to the Shy for getting his moment finally. One of the last things we really need to see out of IG to feel confident out of them as a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, even in that fight, we got to see the other half of that as well, which for me had been JJ, who'd been relatively weak throughout the split, especially versus NIP. Definitely had, the game 1 Xin Zhao performance was a complete contrast to the rest of the series, where he's getting absolutely torn apart by Arki. And this now for JJ is the beginning of what I'm hoping can be a redemption arc for him, a return to form ready for playoffs, because he's going to need that. IG are going to need that if they're going to stand a chance at making this what is already going to be a very difficult run to first stand. It will come off of having 5 incredibly strong stable pieces.
Yeah, and they have the potential. We know that these players, just strictly off name value, are guys that are battle tested. And with the way they're playing so far, it was a little questionable, but now they're really starting to put it together. We really just need to see more clean games out of them. I wonder if we're going to see that in the second half of this series, and I wonder if it's actually going to mean anything, Rudu, because, now with this game meaning that the playoffs are locked, things get a little strange. Will we see a Skarner make it through the pick and ban phase? Surely not, but, what's the worst that could happen, right? You just take the L.
If I take this from IG's perspective, this is I must continue to 3-0 to show the fans, if nothing else, that we are made of the stuff that can make this run to first stand. And then the flip side of that is that FPX, they want as good practice as they can get, because their season is now over, right? They play potentially 4 more games here today, but after this evening, their entire series, or their entire split rather, has ended. So they're going to get themselves a little bit of a break, but they're going to want the best practice that they can get so they can come back in split 2 and again try to challenge these teams. They don't want an 0-3 record for the group, and likewise IG don't want to be going through to playoffs off of some 1-2 tiebreaker technicalities.
And I don't think FPX deserves an 0-3 in the group. It's something that they're staring down and they might get, and they might only, at this point, they were 1-6 in games. There's a world where they end this and they're 1-9 in games, and that puts them on the same level as teams like IG, or LNG, I should say, who are 1-9, Ultra Prime 3-9, WE, who are 1-9. But I have to say, FPX has looked much better than what I've seen out of those teams. I think this could be the fakest 0-3 that we'll see out of a group. And, they'll be able to prove themselves again in Split 2 placements, which will happen in March at some time, I believe. So they won't have to wait too long to really come back after this series and show what they're made of. But still, the series is still ongoing. They have plenty of opportunities to show what they can do. Take a look at these damage charts. The Shy, oh my goodness. This was vintage The Shy on a new champion too.
And I mean, the damage looks good, but I'm really interested in that gold graph, because it paints that picture for FPX that you've just so quite rightly illustrated, is that they're not an 0-3 team. It didn't feel like it. They held their own for 27, 28 minutes of this game. And good. Then IG, found some pick, found some way back in, and managed to put themselves truly in that driver's seat. So I think that FPX, maybe again, if they do go 0-3, will feel a little hard done by in that. But for IG, this is going to be that tick point, that checkbox exercise of now, can we consolidate this win? Can we just find 2 more, get a quick evening in, and in and out of the stadium, and let's start preparing for playoffs.
Yeah, and there were a couple of boxes ticked here. Gala and Mako specifically having that good bot lane, the Shy being on the carry. I think the last one is really having a clean series. Maybe JJ and Mako linking up a little bit more is one that we should look for in these last couple of games. Rudu, what do you think? I think they've ticked most of them now.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth saying as well that Mako, for the back half of that game, was absolutely solid, right? Found what led to be game-winning pick onto bot on the Kalista when he was walking back into the base. Mako, again, consistently finding those really big 3-man, 3-4 people ultimates. Once I'd criticised him for not doing exactly that, so it was really good to see that turnaround through the mid-game, and I think that, like you mentioned, there's just a little bit of link-up between JJ and Mako is going to be that final exercise that I need from them to really, again, secure that they could be a team that make this impressive run that we anticipated they would.
And for FPX, they should continue to play their hearts out in this series because they had moments where they were advantaged and they weren't able to push them. That's been the story for all of their games that they had momentary leads in. There were a couple of games where they were down early, started to make a comeback, but the map states were too negative for them to actually overcome that. This was one where the map states weren't super negative and they weren't able to push for more. Rudu, what do you want to see out of them coming through in the next game in order to convert these small leads into victories?
Yeah, I think that it comes from having that slightly better setup and more so understanding of what their goal for a fight is. There were a couple of people that were really on it. I think that Sheer on the Camille going into those fights knew how he needed to play the fight right, knew exactly where he needed to be, what he needed to do. But the flip side of that is that your Kalista is already in the dirt. It is getting soloed out, isolated by the Ambessa, and even at that stage, there was a world where there was a 2v1, right? Zhui and the Shy, or Zhui versus the Shy, and bot is there as well, and the Shy still coming out largely on top. So there's a real mismatch of what the teams needed to do and what each player needed to do in said teams.
Hey, look at that! Player of the game is the Shy. I'm shocked. This is my surprise.
Oh, no way!
You can't.
But he had the lowest KP on the team. Why?
Oh my goodness! Wow, how could he? Listen, this guy just in these team fights was going absolutely ballistic, and this might be a case study on needing to pick a tank to lane swap or into the Ambessa to try and shut her down. Especially it would get bot away from this double poke bot lane. There's a world where you could make the case for that. I like that FPX stuck to their guns though and just went for what they thought was right, because for the longest time in that game, it was working.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth saying as well, the first 3-4 levels were pretty rough for FPX, especially bot as the Kalista. Didn't really have too much emphasis, didn't have too much say. That's like a very flippy level 1 lane, where if you land a hook level 1, you can start to fight it, but the second you've got poked out by double Scorch, double Comet, your lane's already over if you've not found an engage at that point. So it becomes really tricky, and IG, I think that just with the benefit of getting that level 1 trade, we're able to offset a lot of the Kalista's power, and I think that FPX as well, not quite recognizing what needs to happen from level 1, costing them there.
Before we head to our break, I just want to let everybody know on behalf of the LPL English broadcast of how grateful we are to our Coffee and YouTube subscribers who help us level up the show. A lot of the initial payments go into upgrading the broadcast, but it also goes to paying on-air talent, our content creators, our producers like Camcom, who's put on a great show, everybody who helps level up this broadcast. If you subscribe to our Coffee, the link will be in the chat. You'll be able to unlock perks such as early access to content, the ability to ask interview questions, which is super awesome for our unique on-site interview. So go ahead and check out that link. So we really appreciate everybody's support. We're going to kick it to a very short break, and when we return, we'll get to the Game 2 draft between IG and FPX. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody, to LPL English. IG versus FPX. The first game is in the books. RIP to FPX's hopes of getting into the playoffs. 07 salute, rude dude. But it is a new dawn for the series, as now we get to see both of these teams hopefully work on what they need to work on, as we alluded to before we had our break. FPX, come on. I need to see this jungle unlock the bot lane. We still didn't get to see it in the last game. For obvious reasons, really hard to do against a Varus and Nico, but I'd still like to see it all the same somehow.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Nautilus for gank support, it feels really weird that you can't find a gank down on that bot lane, and it feels even worse as bot, right? Like, if I'm Kalista in this game, I've been weak-sided twice, where the map's been split away from me, and then I'm still getting killed by their Ambessa, who's somehow ahead of my top laner. That's how you get the red flags in your head. The alarms start ringing, and you're like, hold on 1 second, what's gone wrong? And that's kind of how this game ended up playing out in game number 1. So there needs to be more emphasis from FPX on trying to really dial in onto that weak side. You know, IG, they are putting somebody on a weak side, and I think that, you know, last game the Shy did a pretty good job at absorbing the majority of that pressure, you know, backing off when necessary, but there wasn't the emphasis, there wasn't that capitalization from FPX that there needed to be.
Yeah, they were only really able to make one play on the Shy all game before the game kind of got out of hand. They had that one play in the mid lane where they burned his flash and then immediately dive him under the turret. Really good stuff. It just wasn't enough to actually set him behind even further. So, yeah. You know, I need to see a little bit more of that for the carry top laners, but obviously there's a lot. You know, nobody's ever going to play the most perfect game of League of Legends that you've ever seen, rude dude. So we hope for just good moments here as we head into the next draft. And damn, still not going to see Skarner, man. Come on.
Okay.
The rest of these games don't mean anything.
Shockingly, we're not going to see Skarner. I mean, in fairness, if we're planning for, you know, 25.1.3, Skarner's probably not going to get let through then either, so it doesn't bode too well to, you know, quote, practice letting it through.
Hope.
Hey, you can, man. I'm not saying you can't, but it is hope, unfortunately. Now, with Kalista Varus off the table, your priorities seemingly have gone to Ashe, Ezreal, and Corki for our AD carries. Nocturne continually getting quite a few bans here is quite nice, so good to see that the emphasis on Nocturne Ori combos being quite strong have been turned away from, and a Rogue Diana ban thrown in here.
Oh, we might be in the spice zone. Like,
yeah,
that's
FPX knows
that might
something
be
I don't know.
That might be an ominous indication, rude dude, that this game could get a little weird real fast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this implies, and I'm gonna let that slide. Like, there's maybe a LeBlanc first pick on the cards, right? Like, I can't theorize Zyra. Yeah, okay, that's what I've seen.
So far, so good.
Okay, I should have got that.
Cautiously
I'm
optimistic.
sad at myself.
That's okay. That's okay. Listen, we really, the expectations for this game, we don't really know what to expect at this point, right? We don't know what these players are going to pick out. We don't know if we're going to see some lazy drafting where it's like, we can draft a little disrespectfully here and there and just pick what we want when we want it. So far, so meta, as the Leona and the Corki are locked in for IG.
And, well, it would not be a surprise to see the very powerful bot lane of IG get a little bit of attention this game. The question becomes, do FPX want to bow to that pressure, or are they going to try and fight back? And it looks like fight back a little bit is their answer with Ashe Braum as a duo. Again, a very powerful 2 versus 2. The Ashe inherently outranges the Corki with auto attack range, so we do have the opportunity to get a little bit spicy here, Yanni, and that's exactly what's happened.
Yes, sir. JJ gonna get that Nidalee for him.
Yay.
Really excited. Nidalee has a pretty high win rate right now. Actually, one of the higher ones. Still less than 10 games played on it though, so not quite there. But I like to see that this champion is starting to come through, get some picks. I'm sure Rafa's really happy about that too.
Yeah, I mean, now you need to ban Renekton as well as FPX, because it got banned away in game number 1 and is up for the grabs, is also just the quintessential top jungle duo that we get to see usually from, you know, Nidalee pairings. So Renekton should be one of those, and you're looking for more hard CC to be banned away from. Landing those Nidalee spears is so devastating if it happens.
Yeah, we've seen some big chunks come through once Nidalee gets fed, and you know, hopefully for FPX, they don't see JJ go absolutely ballistic, get ahead early. Going to be a little bit hard too, as we all know. Zyra pretty quick on the clears. However, I believe Nidalee recently had that like world record like sub 3-minute clear that I've seen floated around on Twitter and YouTube. So I'm not sure if that's going to be able to be done in a pro game, but that would be pretty sweet.
No, well, hey, we'll have to see what JJ looks and what he can cook up. I know that, again, as you mentioned, Rafa had been cooking up some clears in practice tool. I remember watching him do that for literally an hour straight at one point. I lead a fun life, I promise. And with that, you know, what the rest of the bands look at for FPX is actually gearing towards a very poke-centric composition, right? The Ezreal taken off the board as well, and the idea that Rookie might look to take this Corki into the mid lane, in fact.
Yeah, I saw initially Gala hover the Ziggs, and I'm like, oh goodness, this seems like a really difficult composition for FPX to play against. It certainly can't be Kalista. He's hovered the Ziggs multiple times now. I expect the lock-in. There it is. I mean, once this Corki is level 6, I mean, FPX is going to have a really hard time just dodging out on simply everything. They're in a bullet hell in this game.
So it's now, and I'm really glad to see this, versus Zyra specifically. Zyra does really well when you've got a lot of engage coming on top of you. However, really struggles when there's a lot of range and a lot of poke at you. So we get to see a little bit of an answer to the Zyra, and now a Zeri locked in for Care, presumably, into the mid lane. Again, a champion who's seeing, weirdly, a little bit more resurgence in the mid lane, and specifically as an answer to the Corki, going AD for AD, blow for blow, and then potentially having that hyper carry status as we get later on. I do think they need a hyper tank to be able to absorb all of this poke. No, not quite what I'm after, but it is a safe blind pick for Shia, and what this suggests is that FPX are just looking to kind of withstand the poke in the mid lane and hopefully be able to win out in a 1v1 on the side.
Yeah, and you know, when it comes to fights, just have a quick go button. Obviously, Shear's going to have to be really tight on managing the Narbar, and Kare's going to have to find these unique angles. We've seen quite a few Zeris speed skate through those long walls to get to the backline, and against a poke composition like this, we could see it go pretty crazy. We are going to see the Shy get this Jax, so probably just going to split push around while IG tries to poke down FPX.
So the Shy has already played a couple of Jax games in, or since last summer. I remember at least one in Demacia Cup, and he's actually been, you know, very geared towards a tanky build. So going for the, you know, Unending Despair, Fimbulwinter, you know, really cringe tank build basically that you see on lots of people.
So cringe, bro.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see that for the Shy again. What they have already is a really solid poke composition. They don't need the damage from the Shy. If they get it, great. But they're looking at having 3 solid DPS threats and then 2 frontliners to absorb for them.
Yeah, and out of FPX, again, they're going to have to be very centric on landing these Ash Arrows and getting these individual picks, win a lot of, you know, 1v1s, and make sure that IG doesn't get to the objective first and get an opportunity to set their feet and just throw all these poke spells out and chunk you out. We could see a game, you know, where IG is just simply blowing FPX off these objectives, and FPX is just too weak to even fight, and they have to surrender everything, which, you know, we obviously wouldn't want to see. We want to see FPX be proactive and make things happen.
But I think they have to be looking for cross-map plays. If they were looking to try and take these 5 versus 5s, I would have expected, like I'd mentioned, a Scion, for example, an Ornn to come through as that front line for them. They elected to go away from that. They elected for the Gnar as a blind pick, something that's not going to get absolutely rolled in the laning phase, but that then augments how they have to play the composition and what they can look to do. So they should be looking to have Gnar out on side, have Shia try to bully the Shy and make sure that this Jax is really, really weak going to these team fights. And that, again, puts you in a position where you want to split map and you want to force the Jax onto a weak side. But IG can so easily match that. because they've got this Ziggs down in the bot lane, they don't need to put any pressure on the Ziggs at all. Gala can just farm and be a presence later on.
FPX making their way through the bottom side jungle of IG, perhaps looking to get down a bit of a late ward, see if we'll have any swap shenanigans. I imagine we likely won't, but who knows? It was just strange because we've seen so many lane swaps, and we could have 2 straight games without them, but as I say that, it looks like IG's bot lane's at it up top.
The little do-si-do that's happening, and for the moment, it's going to just be a little bit up in the air for IG. What their plan appears to be is to be accepting more so of this weak side Jax. They've engaged this lane swap. Now Shia kind of knew this was going to happen. He's going to lane 2 people mid lane, and the Jax probably going to walk his way up to this mid side as well. This is where you're looking at your junglers to see who's going to be fastest on their clear. And actually, I'm looking at Shadow's clear right now. He's gone Raptors straight into the enemy bot side jungle. Both of them level 2, but the bot lane prio very high, very prioritized, and I think that FPX, they know that this is their strong side, right? This is where their bot lane is. The fact that JJ even tried to take 2 camps is a bit brazen, and honestly, IG might end up coming out on top of this if Shadow can't find all of his camps on the top side. Yeah,
we'll see where he's headed to after that, as FPX,
they're
going
to dive bot.
sheer to the bot lane. Yeah, this is fantastic. We'll see if they're able to make this play happen. They got to get this wave in fairly quickly. Turret going to at least take out one of the melees. Shadow coming back down.
Yeah, they're on a clock here. Look at Mako on the minimap. He's beelining it. So he's at tier 3 right now, trying to get here before the dive happens. I don't think he's fast enough.
Not so, my friend. The Shy has been stunned. He's been rooted. The Counter-Strike is there. Now they have to go for the redive. Not too much damage coming through from the turret on the first part. Jax, Leap Strike, Flash, slowed, but he escapes, and Mako is here. The time has run out. The Shy under the turret, but he falls. First blood goes to Sheer, and now Mako could potentially be in no man's land. Looks like they're not going to dive them.
Yeah, that's what they're after. They got the kill. The Shy going to be able to pick up teleport as well, so he comes back down to the wave and picks up probably a wave and a half worth of experience. They missed out on a little bit there, and again, it's all about making sure that FPX are delayed as much as possible. So Mako actually doing a very good job at preventing this swap coming back through. You can see they've already dove onto the Jax. Now they're going to look to walk up to this top side and try and bully out that Ziggs a little bit more. But I was talking about the junglers specifically. JJ was able to find all 3 top side camps, and is going to be able to go back and clear his own top side and get a Scuttle Crab. So the Nidalee versus the Zyra is actually going to be favored for JJ for just the time being, because he's going to have 7 camps versus the 5 of Shadow. A crab apiece means that your Nidalee is still 2 camps up, which is a big win for the IG jungler in the early game.
Yeah, and you really love if your Zyra is able to get that first kill. Obviously, the assist goal, totally fine, but that first kill is really what propels you and makes the play worth it for your Zyra. Now, just a little bit behind means that JJ, the world's in his hands. He's going to have opportunities to make some plays, get some power on him, and really make these spears impactful.
And what we also have to remember is that Gala has been sponging a lot of experience, largely solo, and versus level 1
so much
Braum.
damage. Look at all the damage that comes through. Zhui goes down. Gala with the perfect skill shots.
Lovely snipe from Gala. This wave frozen on FPX meant that they felt pressured to step up and try and break it. But as soon as they do that, level 1 Braum stepping up doesn't have any chance of withstanding the burst of a Ziggs and a Leona early on. Now bot needs the support of his jungler to get back into this lane, and you can see forcing the cleanse out as well. Mako has flash, so does Gala, so there's not too much going to happen here. And a great satchel actually keeps Shadow at bay.
Yeah, but the question is Mako going to be able to dodge out on the strangle roots? Flash away means that he will survive, but a solid enough gank from Shadow.
And that just alleviates a little bit of the pressure, I suppose, that would have been felt, and means that the engage range of the Leona is a little bit weaker. No Hex Flash for Mako means he's going to be stymied in the plays that he can make for the time being. But this is even through bone plating, and you can see, normally in this situation, a Braum would throw up Unbreakable and be absolutely fine. However, Braum is level 1, cannot throw up an Unbreakable, as such, dies. So The cull pickup for bot as well. Worth looking at how that's playing out, because so far, despite the fact that FPX were the team that got lane swapped on, that IG initiated that, their Ashe is down 800 gold because of a kill that's gone over and the assist not going their way, and all of this CS as well. There's only picked up 5 CS, going to get a couple more under the turret as well, but this Ziggs is so much further ahead of the Ashe than they'd really have ever liked. The lane swap, a complete success for IG.
Yeah, it's been even harder than the last game for Bot, really on the struggle bus. The good news is, will be useful once he hits level 6, regardless of how far behind he is. He'll just be on the rest of the team to make plays off of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. First set of grubs, we'll go over to IG pretty predictably with the sheer power they've had on this top side of the map so far.
And it's all about this sort of butterfly effect of, well, you know, we're not playing to bot in the early stages, but Shadow's actually just ganked, so that's a little bit of jungle pressure, but it's coming too late. The way that they split the map was that this top side of the rift wasn't going to be theirs to control, and Jeje's already 6.
And then Jue getting chunked here. Jeje, as you mentioned, in there. Mako's going to get credit for the kill off the Ignite, but the IG bot lane up on the top side continue to making plays.
Yeah, and the way that the map had been split by IG is just so favorable right now. Shadow in mid lane.
Rookie with an ace flash after the Valkyrie, and Shadow still unable to get anything after that early dive.
Yeah, and you know he's spending a lot of time getting flashes, but what is he getting from having these flashes down? And so far, the answer has proven to be nothing. Now he's still got 5 minutes to return to mid lane, 2-3 minutes to return to Mako and try and pick up that kill. But FPX just fighting a losing battle, playing into the hands that IG dealt them, where really if they wanted to try and find that snowball, they should be playing to their bot side. The bottom half of the rift was where their comfort zone was for the first few minutes, and it's so hard to re-establish that control. But Shia, you can see he's decently ahead of the Shy. What we should be looking for is continuing that snowball. Let's make sure that this Gnar, who is our late game win condition in the split push, is actually able to bully out the Shy, because currently all it is a couple CS here, a couple CS there, but not too many plates, no solo kills. It's not enough to offset what is happening in the top lane, where IG are continually just bullying out Jue.
Couldn't agree more, Rude Dude, because bot is on Ashe is never going to be a crazy Omega carry. Care obviously is just going to wait till you hit late game Zeri, and the only one who can really do anything at this point is Sheer. So as you are, pretty surprised that we haven't seen any attention go over there. IG now starting up the dragon, should be pretty free.
And that's you know the scary part for FPX is that this dragon probably is going to be free. They're so fluid, just moving between these lanes. They've got complete dominion over the entire rift, and it should only be on one side. Drakes should be getting secured in this split by FPX, but there's just nothing for them to do. Jeje, again, outpacing the Zyra, which is something that you so infrequently see, but it's happening in this instance, and all off of the fact that FPX just didn't quite navigate that lane swap as perfectly as they should have done. Now a collapse comes through.
Nice flash play onto Mako. He's knocked up, but the rest of IG is here, and Mako's pretty tanky.
Gets out.
The poke is so strong. Care goes over the wall. He'll be able to walk out, but again, the poke, too much.
Wow, and just living there is crazy from Mako. No flash absorbs the entirety of Zyra's burst, as well as a Winter's Bite, and all just because I've got W pressed and a Merc Treads built. Incredible that that's the case, but nevertheless, what we find ourselves in is the Shy even feels confident stepping up to Shia, jumping on him a level down.
This is the clean game we really wanted to see out of IG. So far, it's been great. Jeje has gotten this quite a big lead. You won't really see it in the CS department, but you see it in the map control department, where everything has been free. Everything the light has touched is his, and the light is touching damn near everything right now.
Absolutely right. I think that for the time being, IG have put very few feet wrong in this early game. The one death that they had was, you know, a dive that took two attempts from FPX, and on the flip side, Gala was able to secure so much and has been so much further ahead of this Ashe. You know, currently 1.1k to the good. First item already
nice
finished.
Flash into the stun. Oh my goodness, the damage comes through from a mile away. Down goes Shadow. The second set of grubs will go to IG. Rude Dude, FPX, they need to do something at some point.
Oh, well, arrow mid doesn't quite land, and that's again just another notch off the belt that FPX don't have. IG showing how a flash engage should work. Mako flashes on Shadow. The team follow up. There's enough damage to take out the Zyra, who is flashless after all, and gets taken down. And again, to comment on how the game is going, if my Zyra is ever first iteming Merc Treads, something is wrong.
Oh my, that is, that's tough. Bot is in so much trouble. He's been ignited. JJ can't quite get to him. Stranglethorn's out, landing the knock up. JJ gets stunned, but they don't have enough damage. Care trying to speed skate over the wall. It's a certified Zeri moment, but he can't get any more than one. And now Rookie is just causing everybody to back off.
Good
the
dodge.
Poke from Gala too is too much.
Yeah, Bot does dodge out on that final bouncing bomb, and I think that honestly Rookie could have stood to go a lot more aggressive there, but didn't want to give up his life. It's understandable, and doesn't want to throw the advantage that his team have got. This is IG's game to lose. They're 3,000 gold up in the span of 11 minutes. They've taken 6 grubs, the first dragon, and everything in their favor. First brick falls, they've already got the feats of warfare, and you can see JJ trying to predict the flash, gets a little bit unfortunate in the sense that Bot is watching and waiting for where the spear is going to go. Does end up paying with his life, but Care flashes in, insists that the Nidalee falls, and Rookie's happy there to trade. I think that it's just the idea that the brush is going to be there and you can't quite find the damage or the vision without, or the damage without that vision. As now Garlo makes his way down to the bot side. He's already taken top tier 1, all 5 plates on that. Let's do the same thing down on bot side, why not?
Yeah, it was a real desperation attempt from Care as IG continue the shove. I mean, Ziggs with 6 grubs is probably one of the most terrifying things that you can stare down. This Jax has 6 grubs available to him too. I mean, as you mentioned a couple moments ago, it is truly IG's game to lose. I don't anticipate they'll be losing it, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not find the mark. 0 for 2 so far for Bot.
Yeah, and I mean the teleport as well, just a little bit of a giveaway that they might be looking for a play. Nevertheless, it's good respect paid by Invictus Gaming, and now Care forced out of the Drake pit as the Shy is not necessarily deep, but he's on a flank angle here, and a big spear takes about a quarter of Shadow's HP, and that is with Guardian.
Yeah, we mentioned it's a bullet hell that they have to go through. JJ could be caught out here, but they don't have any CC to actually get on him. They finally tag him with the slow. Care gets to the backside, and JJ will fall, but there's so much damage coming out from Gala. He's on his completed item. He's got the boots too.
Yeah, and you may be confused. Hold on. These 3 members of FPX weren't a part of that fight. Why are they half HP? Well, Gala just zoned all 3 of them and prevented their help from getting to Care. He popped a massive explosive charge down that kept them all at bay, and then the ulti on top of it as well. So much damage coming out of Gala, as you'd highlighted. He now finds his second turret, his second set of plates. All he needs to do is walk mid lane, toss a W at that, and that's a complete outer sweep of tier 1 turrets taken. And IG are just playing so perfectly around this Ziggs. He's 2 items up. He's finished his second item with Sork Shoes, and we're still waiting for Static Shift to be finished on the Ashe.
Truly wonderful. It feels like this started when the Shy was able to buy extra time for Mako to help him out. 14 plates to 2. And this Ziggs is going to walk down, as you said, take that mid turret. He's on 2 items at 14 minutes into the game. IG up nearly 5,000 gold, really making a statement here in Game 2.
And on all of these turrets that are going their way, Rookie now, I mean, should probably be fine, isn't he? Takes a few turret shots, but sheer not able to find the kill. Even still, the way that IG have moved around this Ziggs is so good to see, and what we need from them is now how to close out this game. I mean, 15 minutes in, having taken all of the outer turrets is such a good benchmark already. I mean, that's a hit, but it's not onto the target that you're after, and red buff even secured by JJ. Not the way that FPX would have been looking for this match. It's such a solid start from IG. Question then becomes, do they close as cleanly as they've opened?
That is the question, and it seems like a nigh impossibility that it wouldn't happen, as Sheer is up a little bit too far. The teleport from Rookie. Mako is going to take that one away from him. He's got 3 kills on the Leona. They're just having a ball right now.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, you now denied Gala his 100% kill participation, which has its detriments. but the game no longer exclusively being played around Gala. This is that bleeding into the rest of the map that we needed to see, right? Okay, great. Finally, we've got some advantages elsewhere.
Oh no, bro. Oof.
Okay, no summoners burned, but forced back to base again, and with just a little bit of pressure being shown, this is going to be a second turret falling in the mid lane if Gala wants to take it. He's 25% threshold on the turret execute from W, would have been able to find it.
And Rookie doing his thing on the side lane. Everybody is just playing so well on IG right now. There's really not much more you can say, Rude Dude. FPX, they're going to be the ones to start up this Rift Herald. I think they should be able to get this one, so you have at least something, but it's a lot of work that you're going to have to do.
They're going to lose people on the way out is the thing. Rookie's circling. You've got collapse from the Shy possible as well. Herald gets taken.
All right, JJ is the one who gets tagged. Mako stuck in the back of the pit. Sheer is there, ready to go Mega. Shy ready to come in as well. Sheer's off to the side, and the Shy is forcing many people over the wall. Mako is low, but the Shy is still has Way and Shadow to contend with. He's got a flash. Other side of the fight, Gala's just doing so much damage, and the health bars are bleeding and evaporating. Jeje gets a kill. Another one for Gala. Flesh is being burnt, and the chase is not over yet. Do you actually have anywhere to escape to? Mako still lives. The chunks are there, and everybody falls.
And if there was just a little bit more gold on FPX, maybe they could have found a fight. Gala ulting a top wave to add insult to injury. Didn't even need it for that fight. But 5-0. And, it's good to see Shadow on the cams. He's in good spirits because this game is so over at this point. The way to win this game for FPX is to get onto Gala. Tell me, Yanni, do you see any champions that have good, consistent dive that can really threaten this Ziggs? Because outside of Gnar, even then, that's the best opportunity that they've got. Gala flashes and is ready, and then the rest of the team immediately collapse.
Yeah, and Gala is just putting himself in great positions to make sure that he's dealing this damage without actually going down. And, FPX, they're trying, but they got cornered in the pit. They couldn't actually kill the Shy. When one guy is forcing 4 members of your team to be in an awkward spot, you've well and truly lost the game. I hate to say it. We're only 18 minutes in, but I don't see a way.
Looking at the objectives as well, Arrow goes wide again, so looking for Gala, not quite successful.
There. Slow. Dodges the Zenith Blade. He's still taking a lot, though. Gala's bouncing bombs.
Okay. Rookie's fine. He's doing
some good damage. Oh! He walked into the middle of it.
Yeah. See, that's the issue with playing against a well-placed Ziggs bomb, is you can walk back into the center of the Ziggs to take the big damage, or you can walk forward into Corki auto attacks. It's a death that you've been dealt regardless of how you position at that stage. And I was gonna say that created a second win condition for FPX, which is IG throwing. And granted, that is still a win condition for FPX, but the odds are incredibly low because they've just taken an inhibitor, not even pre-25 minutes at this stage, pre-20.
Yeah, that's how confident they are. They didn't leave the inhib up. They're like, nah, we're going to take the inhib. We're going to use that to just absolutely dominate the rest of the map like you've been doing all game long. This is the IG that we wanted to see. I guess the only question now, Rude Dude, is are we seeing this IG because FPX is maybe playing a little bit more loose, or IG maybe playing a little bit more loose and they're playing better because of it?
No, I think that IG played this early game incredibly well, and they sort of put themselves in this position with the lane swap. They knew exactly how they were going to navigate it. The Shy did well also, and now FPX really making their last stand around this Atacon. I mean, it's down 10,000 gold, and when there's only 40,000 gold on IG's side, that is such a monumental percentage to be behind. The Shy's on a flank. FPX are getting corralled.
Yeah, this is going to be a gnarly flank. The stun is there. The Shy is there to land the counter-strike. And all of a sudden, the fight became a 5v2 because he gets shredded by Otacon. The Shy is on top of Bot. He's hapless. He's just standing there. He's canceling his autos. It's over. Look at the man. The poor guy. Don't do it, the Shy. Just let him live. Let him live, bro. Yeah, there you go. Please.
Get the roses. That's a good idea.
Look at the flowers. Look at the flower spot. Look at. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Look at the Nexus, I think, is more appropriate.
Oh, no. Why'd you kill him, Shy? Come on, man. That was mean.
The fight took so long. Jue was able to respawn as well, and got to see his Nexus fall, which I guess is a win in its own right. But for me, IG, systematic approach to taking that game, right? They start to finish had a game plan, implemented said game plan, and it reaped all the rewards.
That was one of the more dominating games of League of Legends that I've seen in quite some time. Obviously, we had a bit of domination at the end of the series yesterday, but this was really, as you said, you couldn't have put it any better. Beautiful from start to finish. A true masterclass and a true heights of what we could see IG put together as a team. They are able to do it against a team like FPX, who's considered a bit of a lesser team in the league. The question is, can you do it against some of these better teams now?
Yeah, exactly. And this is great practice, right? This is that's one of the games that IG, I think, will have been I'll say sweating. They'll have been really looking to close that out as best as possible, and they did so because that is one of those games that if you get that on stage as well, sends a message to other teams in the league that this is what we can do, and that puts an element of respect on their name also. So it's about keeping that respect high, and it's about now closing this series out 3-0. Again, can't emphasize this enough that IG throughout this split so far have had a shaky split. It was a loss versus NIP that wasn't expected. It was a win versus RNG, but a couple of games in that did look patchy. And now we need to see them just dumpster FPX again, so that there is no doubt in anybody's mind that 3-0 is the correct score and that this is a playoff contending team.
Yeah, leave no doubts of the domination of IG, the sleeping giants finally making their moves. Couldn't come at a better time. You want to be playing your best League of Legends going into the playoffs, and as you said, just one more to cap it off would be fantastic. And for FPX in this third game, you just have to show a little bit more than that second game. We didn't see anything. You could have told me that was a game against expert bots, and it would have. I would have probably believed you. It was really tough, and I hate to disparage FPX like that, but IG gave them no room to do anything. Once that initial play, the Shy bought enough time, it was over from there. They gave IG an inch, and they took more than a mile.
Yeah, I mean, it's about that understanding of how the lane swap functions, and that was very clearly not present for FPX. If I'm IG, I try and run the same thing again in game number 3, and try and lane swap on them, because FPX need to learn what went wrong, and that's the emphasis for the coaches, I think, going into this little break that they've got, is if they lane swap on us again, what are we going to do differently? And for the coaches to be able to give them that information is going to be really crucial. It's about keeping your map your side of the map, because there was a point where they tried to encroach back into top side and they just had no opportunity to do so, and it cost them dearly.
Yeah, you take a look at this damage charts here. Rookie had a pretty quiet game, I'd say. He was definitely there doing a lot of things, but really went under the radar with what everybody else was able to do in the plays made. And Agala, of course, I mean, when you deal 17k damage in a 21-minute game, that's actually so difficult to do against another professional team. We don't talk about this sort of thing enough, but FPX, for being again in quotes a bottom team in the LPL right now, these are still some of the best players in the world, in the best league in the world, and you're able to do that to them. It's insane to think about.
Yeah, and I mean, if this isn't a Gala MVP, I don't know.
What are we doing?
There's some questions to be thrown. There's again an argument that JJ can find something for a couple of votes. I wouldn't mind, but Gala played exceptionally, and honestly, in these lane swap type situations, it is how the team decides to play. And honestly, the MVP is whoever's shot calling that game for the first 10 minutes. Obviously, don't have that information, but is certainly somebody who needs to be praised for their victory. And you can see, obviously, KP for FPX looks pretty good, but when you got 3 kills in the entire game, it starts to feel less good. That was the reason why.
Can we say that Shadow and Jue were linking up on plays because they've got 100% KP?
I think we can.
Can we say that?
I think that's the
yeah.
benefit that we have to take, is that whenever they did things, they did them together.
And they did them well.
And
they
so
got the
frequently
kills.
those things were deaths, and that's okay. But they were doing them together.
Oh my god! Hey, listen, that's the synergy you want out of your jungle and your support. 100% KP and dying together. You know, true bro status right there. It's like the end of the SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob and Patrick are holding hands as they get blasted under the heat lamp that is Ziggs bombs. In this case, it was. Oof. All right, surely
situation.
Game 3 cannot be as bad, right?
No, I would like to think not. However, never say die, right? That never say never is the ruling in FPX. They lost in 20 minutes and 59 seconds in this game. IG, maybe they put the benchmark in and they say, yeah, we've got to beat that. We've got to go one better.
Oh my goodness, bro. That would be so messed up. Do you wonder if they're having those conversations
Pre-20
right
minutes.
Now? Like, there's a non-zero chance.
20?
There's a non-zero chance that they're actually talking about right now. That would be the most diabolical thing ever. They're just like, we're going to win before that. Look at that.
Yeah.
What an
no
MVP
way.
here. I'm shocked.
Shockingly.
7-0-7. 2 items at 14 minutes, bro.
Yeah, I mean, putting all the resources into Gala and then Gala paying that forward, it's exactly what you're after. We're more than happy with how IG played this entire game, and I think that the fact that Gala gets MVP here, you know, player of the game, it makes sense. Again, I would advocate for whoever the shot caller is should get it. From what we can see and what is tangible to the viewer, Gala getting the player of the game makes the most sense. I think to go back to our how do they win earlier question, it gets really tricky because Ziggs is the be-all and end-all of turret takes, and now you've got to try and take probably Tristana to do something similar.
Man, you're really on the yep. Let's end the game before 21 minutes. I love it. I'm a big fan of that, Rude Dude. Maybe we will see Tristana, the tower taker of Terra, come through for the next game. But we're gonna take a short break, and hopefully FPX will be able to get that game out of their mind, shake it off, maybe try to take one off of IG going into Game 3. We'll see the draft real soon, and we'll see you all real soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the LPL English broadcast. Invictus Gaming, FPX. You know, after game one, we had such high hopes for FPX. Like, wow, played
we
such
really
a
did.
solid early game, you know, and you were so close to turning it over and really coming alive. And then Invictus Gaming just beat the tar out of them, man. I mean, FPX, they didn't even roll their ankle out of the gate. They lost their foot out of the gate. A foot completely cut off, fell on their face. Don't know what more to say. It sucked. It was bad.
The game one gold graph superimposed on the game two gold graph would make for really good reading, because game one FPX were 26 minutes in, they had positive gold, and then IG clawed their way back in. Game two, the gold graph ends at 21 minutes because that's when the game ends, and the duality is just crazy.
Hey, they had positive gold at 26 minutes in game one, and they didn't have negative gold at 26 minutes in game two.
You're not wrong, right? That's fundamentally correct. However, you're portraying the facts in a way that lead people to believe.
Don't think about it too much.
Okay, sorry. I will not think. I'll turn my brain off.
Listen, that's what I do, and it seems to work pretty okay. As
what if we both did that? How would the product...
I mean, it would probably look like IG versus FPX in game two.
That's true, that's true. Over in 20 minutes, and then somebody would come and tell us to leave.
Isn't that just what happens on a regular cast? All right, time to leave after you're done. We'll see if FPX is able to bounce back in this game. You know, I would have loved to see FPX make some waves in the series. After that second game, I don't know if it's going to be possible. They still didn't seem like they were in bad spirits. Everything seemed pretty good on their end. But listen, give me something spicy. Give me a spicy pick. We saw the Diana ban in game two. Now I want to see, like, I don't know, Diana get picked in game two.
How about Zed versus
Trundle,
Poppy?
or Zed versus Poppy. You know, no particular champion. I have some favorites. I love Lucian. I love Thresh that I'd love to see. But honestly, you pick anything that's a little off the beaten path. Give us a little bit of spice for this game, guys, because there was no spice in that last game.
Where do you stand on Pantheon?
Pantheon's becoming a little bit too meta for me to be like, wow, this is spicy. But it's still enjoyable to watch simply because we don't see too much of it still, and we haven't seen much of it in a long time outside of the first few weeks of the season, so I'll be happy with it.
Yeah, okay. We'll allow a Pantheon. It doesn't quite meet the
like
spice
Pepper.
level.
Yeah, it's like Pepper.
Oh
which
God,
for you I know might be a little crazy.
Whoa. We are mistaking me for a white man, and that is not okay. Now
I'm mistaking you for a true Brit instead of the background that you actually have. My apologies.
No. You're good. I think that in the most case here, the spice levels for IG probably going to be quite mundane. We may be seeing salt, but that's about it, right?
Oh my God! Hold on.
We're not pushing the boat out that much.
Can we maybe go from salt to like McDonald's Sprite? Can we get that spicy?
We'll have to wait and see, because what's really going to happen is one of these teams is probably going to pick, and hear me out here, Ezreal. And that is, as vanilla cupcakes as it gets, I'm afraid.
Vanilla is good. Vanilla is actually my favorite flavor. I'll be quite honest with you, which I know is a little basic.
After the pepper comments?
Listen, that doesn't mean that I can't tolerate spice or don't enjoy spice. I, in fact, have the...
You're on thin ice, buddy.
Hold on. Let me defend myself real quick. Have you ever watched Hot Ones? The show with the hot
I haven't
wings?
watched it. I'm familiar with the concept.
I have the hottest hot sauce on that, and actually had to take it on a cast as a challenge once. So I can handle it. It was tough. It was very tough. But it wasn't as bad as you think. So I can take it, but I just much prefer vanilla, as these teams do here. Going to see the Nocturne with the first lock-in. Aurora go over to IG. So perhaps we'll see the Orianna come out from Care. I really like
we are full snoozing right now as these two teams draft their way through. The Aurora pickup, I mean, probably preempting the Orianna that comes in. Oh, wait, Yanni, look at what I predicted. Crazy. Yeah, get the pillow out, buddy. It's Ezreal time. This is yeah, we're going stock standard. Can you see? Dare I interest you in an Orianna, as you've highlighted already? An Orianna, maybe.
Orianna's one of my favorite champions, so I'll at least be okay with it. But we're still snoozing a little bit here. You know, we've got maybe.
I
like Ahri. I like Ahri, but I just don't see why you'd pick Ahri with Nocturne, but that's what we're going
All
for.
right. Well,
All right,
hey,
Rude Dude, why would you pick
better
this
than
instead of
nothing.
Orianna?
You wouldn't. It gives Care more playmaking potential. That's what I will say, is that it no longer it forces that Shadow be the playmaker. It gives Care some opportunity to playmake also. So there is that, where Care feels like he might need to take the game into his own hands a little bit more, and this gives him the opportunity to do so. They've elected to not match AD carry here, which is, you know, perfectly fine, but it means that they really wanted this Rakan, and it means that this Nocturne-Rakan duo is going to be their linchpin for the mid game. They get to level 6, they start sequencing those combos together, and ideally, whoever is on IG's target, or whoever is targeted on IG, will just die.
Yeah, even the Ezreal, right? You could have Arcane Shift, you can have Flash. Hell, you could probably have a second Flash, and you still wouldn't be able to get away from this team, provided they're all locked in and consistent on the same target. So, and I like that FPX is doing that at the very least. But come on, I need something more. Give me some more.
I mean, I like Alistair, honestly, as an answer to
Yes.
what is already a lot of dive, right? You talked about what is going to be necessary to keep Gala alive. I think that Alistair is maybe the best champion to do that. You can knock up anybody diving. You can knock somebody away as well. I think that now it's about banning out those really big ticket AD carries that can go with this dive. Kai'Sa has already been taken off the board. Your next port of call, probably a Misfortune, just to try and make sure that your laning phase is a little bit more stable if they end up looking for a lane, a laning 2 versus 2. But even if not, looking to take out some top laners to set up for your blind pick. They're going to have counter pick for top side, actually, so they'll be fine, but making sure that there's no bad matchup or no good blind.
And I like FPX getting rid of this hard engage with this Wukong. See if they opt out for another jungler that's able to do something like that, maybe cause some chaos. Xin Zhao has been one of the winningest champions so far in the LPL. Not quite sure how well it would fit for IG.
Boy's
but
banned,
still
unfortunately.
Oh, he is banned. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that on the first part. All right.
Yeah,
I was too
it's
busy
okay,
getting
man.
the pillow.
You were
at that
snoozing,
time.
you know?
Yeah,
You're
I was snoozing. My bad. Thank you for pointing that out. Volibear might wake me up a little bit. You know, it's been played a little bit. I could get up for Kindred too.
Okay, I mean, JJ so far this game has played this series rather has played Nidalee and Viego, so carry's very much in the wheelhouse for him. That's worth saying.
Come on, bro. No.
Oh no, back to bench. I mean, Lee Sin. I think that Lee Sin is always entertaining. He always has the style, right? You always get some sort of flair, but he is. I mean, honestly, he's not even that meta anymore. Does that do anything for you? Can I sway you?
No, you can't sway me. I've seen him.
You're too league pilled.
So
You're too season 4 pilled.
Yeah. Listen. You know, he's been getting decent amount of play so far this season. You know, Udyr, all right. Like Udyr's been seen a little bit, but like Udyr and Lee Sin are not like, you know, Nocturne and Rakan levels of sleeper. Like I'm starting to like straighten my back out a little bit more here. You know, maybe some. Come on, please, just come on, please. I beg of you. Give me something. It works really well with the Nocturne, too. Oh, no, bro. Turn out the lights on them. God!
We've been so disappointed, man. Rule number 1, right? Never talk about the hovers. And we didn't talk about it, but we knew. We were tempted. We were baited in. And unfortunately, it's going to be Jinx. Again, reset composition for FPX has been fully drafted, right? Jinx, Ari, you get that first kill, the resets come through, get excited, an extra charge of Spirit Rush, and you can start to go crazy. However, IG themselves have elected to take this Aurora into the top side, we'd like to think, and actually be able to kite out the Udyr. So there was this expectation that the rookie would take the Aurora because he's been playing so well on it throughout this year. You know, the games versus top esports, I believe, in Demacia Cup were absolutely mental, where he almost solo carried the game on Aurora, not quite able to make that happen. And even still, putting him on the rise this time round to give him that late game hyper carry presence almost. I mean, IG this game have got so much damage, and FPX have got that element of finding a reset should be how they take a big ticket victory. I'm not against FPX's composition at all here. There's not really a front line for IG to speak of. Alistair is going to have to act as that, so Mako has got a really big job on his hands, but also he can't act as a front line because if he's stood in front of everybody, he's not defending his backline and not stopping that dive from happening.
Yeah, the rise, good news, wakes me up a little bit. We've seen him a little bit, but it's enough to finally, when you put it all together in the soup, it's not too bad. Rude Dude, one of the things that really concerned me with this IG comp is that this is a team that, you know, you can easily send your Aurora in a side lane, your Ryze in a side lane, right? You could 1-3-1 with this comp, and that's really good. The only problem is, you take a look what you got to deal with. That's a comp that eats that for breakfast. FPX's team will be able to just destroy these side lanes by making quick overload plays and able to snap back to other parts of the map so you're not losing too much on the other side. I worry a lot for IG here. This is a very, we're going to try to style on you composition, I feel.
Yeah, and you know, their comp as well, if they are looking to play this 1-3-1 with Ryze, with Aurora, they can, like you say, get collapsed on quite quickly. The Nocturne, the Rakan are two pieces that are devastating, really, plus a Jinx rocket over the top. Okay, Charm. Okay,
all right.
Good. Rookie's Flash.
I like it. I like it. The banner was in the way for a little bit, but you know, you get that out. That's always good.
Ooh, and, so, okay, quickly. Summon a spell noting, because something is slightly atypical here. Rookie did not take teleport. Rookie has gone for Ghost, so is looking to, for lack of a better word, glide on this Ryze, and we'll see whether or not he's successful in that venture, and whether or not any more lane swaps happen to come through. You can see already some early vision going down from FPX. The ward deep in the bush between the tier 1 and tier 2 in bot side, spotting out who goes to that bot lane. And IG, they've initiated the lane swap up to this top side. This time it's been read, it's been seen by FPX, and they're going to match it by sending their top side, or their bot lane up to top side as well.
Shadow getting in there a little bit. He's forced a flash, but he's also ignited. Good knockups are there, but Shadow is so low. The heal is there, but Alistar is going to be the one getting first blood.
5v5 mid, level 1? Yeah, why not? What's going on here? FPX do come out, losing out again on the play. It's first blood that granted goes to Mako, but it's a unfortunate fight that once again finds IG getting a kill in their favor.
The Shy. He's getting run down. You should be okay, but he is getting run down. Taking very lows. Top lane action in the mid lane. We got bot lanes in the top lane. Just another banger LPL game, my friend.
I think this is looking favourable for FPX. It looks like they came out on top of the trade, and looking at the experience as well is going to be the important part. I do think that IG probably get to pick up the majority of this XP under the turret, so they won't have actually lost out on too much, if anything, really. But FPX at least being able to utilise this slightly winning bot lane duo, even if they are doing it in the top lane.
Yep, you can do it all the way around. JJ looking to get here quickly. There are no wards, so once Gala and Mako hit level 2, it'll be bad news for FPX.
Yeah, it's that ticking time bomb, right? Level 2 comes in on this creep. There's low HP.
Oh, not the double knockup. They do have summoners. JJ with a great sidestep forces the flash out of bot. The barrier too. Flashes on top of him. Lands the Q. Oh, right through Shui. That was impressive.
Yeah, actually, Shui flashed away from the Q, so he left bot to take it and signed the death warrant of the Jinx, unfortunately. But it's a great timer for a gank, and if we look at the other side of the map, what is getting taken? Unfortunately, the answer is nothing, so it's just a free gank. And JJ is going to be able to make his way down to the bot side, take all 3 of his bot camps like nothing really happened.
Wow, that was a really well-executed gank there, and Mako, the beautiful engage, the double knockup. So much about that was so great. Now, it's going to make life much harder for the side of FPX. Whenever Lee Sin gets ahead, that ball gets rolling real quick, and Shadow, during this time between him getting his ultimate, see what more JJ can do.
Yeah, I think, you know, Shui looking to stop JJ, but then look at the timing on the flash from Shui. Just gets it. So he doesn't tank the Q, but ends up signing the death warrant of his AD carry. But not going to be too happy about that one, given he just burned both summoner spells, and you know, maybe there's an opportunity for them to trade back onto JJ if they find the correct timing pulling him under the turret. Shadow does steal away a Raptor camp of second spawn, so a small victory for the Nocturne, but even still, IG are going to be more than happy with the way that this game is going. Once again, small advantages across the board here. Just 200 to 300 gold in each lane, but even still, that is an advantage to begin with for IG. We've seen them run away with less.
And we love to see it. And after that stolen camp, Zhezhe hasn't really been able to do too much. There was multiple members on the bottom side. He ran over there. He's going through top side, but he's spotted out by a ward. So they're trying to make this Lee Sin homeless for at least a little bit.
Remember, no flash on Ari, so until Care dings level 6, he's a little bit susceptible in this mid lane, and you can see Rookie really looking to hammer home that advantage. This wave in a god-awful position, for lack of a better phrase, for Care. So he's definitely going to need either a little bit of help or just a little bit of support. Even still, the way that this late game looks to pan out, again, we have to say, despite the fact that IG are ahead in this early game, they're going to have a tricky time of things later on. You know, that their 1-3-1 composition gets slightly ruined by the idea of Nocturne. They can probably just walk in and try and take team fights, but Rookie here looking to take this skirmish up against Care.
Yep, he's able to take him down to about half HP, so it's just a matter of, can IG get strong enough to render
no
FPX moot? Forced to flash away his Care. So it's been rough sledding for him, as you said. It's great plays.
I mean, fortunately now he's going to get level 6 off of probably the next wave, if not this one. So he's going to be a lot safer as the lane continues. With all of the early game shenanigans largely focused around the top side, it is JJ who's been making the most proactive plays, but it looks like FPX are the ones who are, with a level advantage on Shadow, going to be the ones setting up for these grubs. First one picked up for the Nocturne, and IG not really in a position to take this fight.
Yeah, really good for FPX. Sheer, I'm sure, will be loving these. See if he's going to take it. JJ does take it and steals a grub away, slides out, and now the collapse is on. This is going to be a full 5v5. First one going to be targeted out, and the Aurora gets first blood onto bot. Not first blood, I'm sorry. Got a double kill there. Just putting in so much work is IG. I forgot there was so much action because it got quiet for a little bit in this game.
And immediately, oh, they want more as well. Are they going for Shadow?
No.
No, they're just looking to taxi out on the minions. But even still, the 3-for-0 trade, they get one of the grubs as well. So no feet stack secured for the objectives. And IG just collapsed beautifully. Bot, unfortunately, had no flash, and he's just stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Look at where the Jinx is positioned. So JJ goes in, knows that he can ward hop to get out to safety, and then it's Mako just forcing the Jinx into the level 6 Aurora, who, again, is not the position you want to be in. Gets knocked up, and then immediately killed in that duration. Care as well. No mana to ulti to really impact the fight after a missed charm to begin with. And Gala just popping out the damage little by little. The Ezreal not particularly fed at this stage in the game, but working his way up to those 2 items nice and quickly. A couple of assists in the back pocket as well will help that in no doubt.
Yeah, as an AD carry, you really hate being in the middle of the fight. Typically not a great place to be if it's kicking off. And
I've just seen Bot's first item as well.
Oh my.
Which is fine in a squishy composition. I want to illustrate this, that this is not, you know, god-awful by any means. But the idea of going Collector when you're behind just, I think, historically has felt so bad. Again, in this current season, it's not horrendous, and it's probably going to be fine, and may even be accurate, you know, as the build path to go for. But it augments how you need to play.
Yeah, see if he's able to take advantage somehow, some way. It just feels like it's going to be so difficult.
So,
Shadow is level 6.
What this does for the Jinx is means that your W's hurt a lot more, first of all. So the poke that comes through from the zap is a lot greater. You attack a lot slower, which is the trade-off that you're taking, right? Is that you don't really have any attack speed until either your second or third item. Normally with Collector, you'll see Infinity Edge be the second item, and then you know, opt into Runaan's PD, whichever Zeal item you're looking at as third. But IG looking for a play top.
Bro. Yep, they just show up on Sheer. The Rise delivery system. Who's going to get the kill? Jeje now 2-0-4. The Shy gets an assist there, and it is all IG.
Yeah, and we got to see a little glimpse there of a top wave that was completely balked. Okay, Flash.
All right, the question is Gala able to get out? Cleanse Flash used. Shadow not going to take any damage on the way out, just trying to rifle onto Mako. Nice sidestep there, and they're not able to make the play onto the IG bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, with Aftershock procced there's an argument that we could have waited as Care is making his way down to this bot side into a teleport. Oh no.
Yeah, the Shy put himself in a bit of a weird spot there, trying to flash around, and Did he find a way to escape? Wait a minute. Hold on. He's up against that wall, and he goes down.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a S-keying moment where everybody's thinking, when's he going to throw Charm? When does Care throw Charm? And finally it comes in to connect. Picks up FPX's first kill of the game, but once again, it's not without a cost in its own right. 2 plates have now fallen in the mid lane, and this is 100% kill participation as well for Judge in this game. The Lee Sin has been everywhere, has been doing exactly what is necessary, and for the most part had Mako by his side. Now bot under this turret, certainly in a bit of a tricky spot.
Oh no, the little aggressive kick. Woo! Q lands, got him. 1-for-1 trade there. I don't know if they'll be able to get Zhui on the backside of this, but yeah, you mentioned the Ghost is burnt. Looks like they're going to go for it. Rookie dies in the turret. Zhizhe on a thread will survive.
Slither of HP as the Lee Sin walks out, and the Rakan stays strong in the bot lane dive. Still has heal as well, so not really too close there were IG, and maybe we're getting a little bit of that overzealous nature that can come with confidence and some things that maybe cost IG games previously. Let's take another look at this bot lane fight. It's really solid work from Shadow, in fairness. Going straight onto the Ezreal, burns double summoner spells, and then turning tail and going back for Mako as well. Great sidestep on the rocket here by Mako to keep himself alive. And then the Pathfinder, not quite enough to take down the Alistair. And then you've TP'd in here, the Shy, to try and defend your bot lane. And then it's about here where things get weird, because nobody actually does anything. Just trying to dodge Care's charm. Care walks about as close as possible before firing it. Manages to land the CC, which signs the death.
Yeah, this is where we started the happy gaming moments out of the side of IG. But they're looking to be actually happy here as bot is ignited, trying to escape. Lives on a sliver. Shadow flies in. Can FPX turn this one around? Sheer coming through, trying to make plays. They're going to target out the Shy, who's down to half HP. Zhui and Shadow are so low. The Shy still alive as Zhui falls. How is this guy alive? He can't close out on a kill, but Care on the roam up to clean up Mako. Gala can't kill bot as he gets a double kill. And FPX all of a sudden are back in it.
Yeah, they find 3 kills in the top lane and have narrowed up that gold graph very, very nicely. Just 200 gold separates them. Yes, a wave gets lost in the mid lane, but they'll be more than happy to pick up some kills and find some gold back for themselves. This game was looking like it was going to get snowballed on in a similar fashion to game number 2. But now FPX fighting back and, well, maybe losing out on Sheer on the back half.
They've played these games before, Rude Dude. We've seen this play before. Zhizhe and Rookie combining as 2, and Rookie gets his first kill of the game.
Yeah, nice to see the Rise on the board, and I mean, looking at how well this Rise is doing in terms of gold, first of all, as bot, this is the replay, gets taken down to just a slither of health. It's Gleaming Quill plus Summoner Heal that keeps him a part of this fight for so long. Mako, buying again a little bit of time, making sure that his Ezreal is safe, but it's just too much. Shia walks in, able to find what he needs to on the Shy, who, in fairness, the fact that he almost trades one back after this as well. Look how low Shadow ends up going. I think if he'd have angled for bat, maybe there's a world where he can take it, but Care makes his way up, find the 3 kills, and Gali, you can see, aggressive in his Arcane Shift, trying to find a trade back. The Jinx not quite able to fall, though, and now it's IG once again looking for a play down on this bot side.
Here we go. Knockup is there. Zhizhe trying to come through. The kick not into the Jinx, but just to the side. And now Shadow's a little too deep onto Gala. And now it's a 3v2. Zhui, half HP, still alive. Care down here to potentially defend the dive. Charm? Wait, Mako had to pop his ultimate. Care's stuck under this turret. You're trying to split these guys apart. Yeah, the turret's going to help him out a little bit. Super Mega Death Rocket coming through. Oh, not going to land.
We thought for a second there that maybe we'd find a rocket. However, Good to see that, you know, that Bot is still looking for these cross-map plays, and especially with a Nocturne as well, can be so easy to leverage Darkness into a Rocket, because the enemy team can't see it coming. Usually you've got a little bit of a reaction time to try and flash, but if you're shrouded in Darkness, Paranoia open, you see that rocket when it hits your face, and that's ultimately too late for most instances. Now, it is worth saying that despite FPX being able to close that gold gap off the back of the top play, IG have reopened it up as well, so they found themselves a little bit of a way to extend that advantage one step further. And looking at the gold specifically is where you need to find those advantages. So for the most part, it is the Shy who is has finished off that Liandry's, but has Sorcerer's Shoes as well, and is 1k gold up over his opponent. What that actually means in terms of the items though, not too much, with Winter's Approach finished, stacking up into Fimbulwinter, the Shy not really able to punish Sheer in these side lanes, it doesn't feel like, and once some sort of MR is picked up, it means that Sheer can lane versus either the Ryze or the Aurora in the 1 versus 1.
Trying to shut down some of that split pushing power, be able to suffer through any damage they can put out and eviscerate their waves. So IG, you mentioned it, they reopened that gold lead. It's almost at 2k, but nothing too crazy right now. Rift Herald in 25 seconds. See if FPX is going to make a play, as Shadow is just lying in wait.
Yeah, and then he spotted out though. Not the easiest of engages to take, as Care lands a charm.
Oh,
but he's
goodness.
definitely coming out.
Yeah,
on
Charming
the worst end of these
Arise.
trays.
Yeah, Charming Arise after he's gotten his phase rush is a very, very scary thing. Oh my god, wait, he was diving, I think. Is in the back of the pit, stuck and dead as Bot lands it flush. Now they're turning on to Mako, who does tank up quite a bit, but is whittled down lower and lower. A double kill for Bot. Sheer chasing down the Shy. He'll be able to get out just fine. They might go for a dive. Care in position.
Yeah, it looks like Care TP'd up to this top side to try and evade Rookie as best as possible. The Shy should be able to clear out this wave under the turret and probably keep himself alive, but doesn't look like he's got that tool.
Drops his ultimate, goes from side to side, trying to just clear out the wave and stay alive, and he will.
All right, lovely stuff. Job done.
Smooth.
And now Bot dies mid lane. No barrier.
There you go. They finally got him. I thought for a second it was getting a little testy, as Bot has gotten pretty strong lately. But Rookie and Gal are able to make the play. The Shy is still a little too over-aggressive. The flash, a bear slap with the knock-up, with the fear. The Shy is dead.
And Sheer picks up the kill as well. That's going to help him get to that second item that little bit faster, to be able to withstand the 1 versus 1 that bit greater. And those kills going on to Bot as well, it's worth mentioning. Really, really important, because this Jinx is the late game carry for FPX, remember. Their composition thrives on 5 versus 5 team fights and being able to get a reset for the Jinx as soon as she gets that first kill. And again, reminder of the champions that she's looking to kill. It's 4 Squishies and an Alistair, so not out of the realm of possibility that a kill will be taken down. And especially with the way that the dive happens for FPX as well. If they dive onto the backline, and even if Jinx Rocket grants an assist, that starts the fight for Bot. That gets him that reset. Now we've got the first 5v5 really of this game, as Herald is started by FPX.
Great Ezreal, chunking out a lot of people. Jouet blown up in an instant. Sheer trying to front line, but he's getting whittled down on the backside. Shadow on top of the Shy as they're going for the weak part of the pincer, and Care will help take him out. Mako with a big knockup, but Care has a couple charges left. Charm landed onto Mako, and he's gone. And the resets, Rudude. As you mentioned, they're looking for more, but the health bars favor IG for right now, as Gala and JJ are full. The charm, but the cleanse. JJ getting Care low as Bot dies, and the turret will be able to save FPX's last 2 members.
And IG just coming out on top of the fight, but they did lose out on that Herald. Shadow turned off the lights so that he could pick up that Herald, largely uncontested. Gala, though, free-firing for the majority of that fight, forced to cleanse out of one of the charms, but still consistently pumping out that DPS. We talked about the Ezreal not being fed previously. He's now 2 items, Trinity Force plus Muramana, fully upgraded. He's not a slouch at this stage. True Shot Barrage across 3, and the Rakan is bursted immediately. And you like this play from FPX. It's solid idea, play onto the weak side, focus out the Shy, but there's just not enough left afterwards. Now Mako flashing for Shadow, forces Shadow's flash as well, and unfortunately his ulti wears off as he goes for that engage. But then the 3 people that are left for IG are maybe the strongest people on their team. JJ looking for Gala to keep him alive. And as soon as they jump onto bot, there's nothing really that the Jinx can do.
And it's so hard because of that Otacon wall, which, you know, having that impassable terrain means that they had to funnel in to chase IG, and Rookie is able to tag every single one of them, and FPX is like, oh, well, we can't go deeper, and that bought IG enough time for their cooldowns. And now they're on the push on this mid-inner turret. Here comes Shadow trying to make a play, but he's in the middle of 4. Zhui getting knockups and taunts abound. Rookie shoved off to the side down to half HP as Sheer is trying to frontline and do his thing, but he is getting rooted and whittled down. Zheje goes in, he goes out, he gets damage as Care has 1 charge left. Charms are there, health bars are low, but Zheje is just too strong. IG is just too strong. Down goes bot, down goes Care. It's an ace for IG.
And down go FPX, a 5-0 for Invictus Gaming as they will take all 5 members and turn their attention to the Otacon. Tier 2 turret falling, Realm Warp up to cheat tempo even further, and IG, just when the game was looking to get a little bit loose, a little bit wild, they reset themselves and claim a victory.
Otacon going to go the way of IG. Take a look at this replay, Rude Dude. If you had an Orianna, it'd be pretty good.
We were thinking the exact same thing. Imagine what an Orianna could have done there. Unfortunately, Sheer not quite linked up, not quite in the right position to step forward and be that front line. And Care, again, great timing on the charm so he doesn't get knocked up and instantly taken down, but Mako is living on just a slither of HP. Bot doesn't have the damage to deal with all 4 members of IG charging at him. And even if that Infinity Edge gets finished off by the time the next fight comes through, you're really thinking that this is a struggle bus for FPX, that the idea of them finding any fight that looks good, it's just so low. And especially as a reset composition up against Voracious Otacon, you're not getting any resets in the next fight. So it just became infinitely harder to take the next team fight, which probably comes at a timer when, you know, you're looking for a Drake, you're looking for tier 2s that could very well be giving that gold over that gives IG the game.
And we were worried about, you know, IG splitting 1-3-1ing, or, you know, FPX able to take advantage of at least one member splitting. Well, they've just been grouped up this entire time. Zheje is super deep here. Zhui getting chunked and bursted and dead. The charm is there, but it does not matter. He's out, and the block from Mako too.
Yeah, and he's not even been withdrawn yet. Like, this is so crazy that IG are just able to force on these timers. Mako steps up, takes a couple of turrets so that the backdoor bonus is with them for the entire time, long enough for them to take down this tier 3 turret. And again, before Baron has even fallen, IG have not just broken open the base, but they've broken an inhibitor as well.
Here we go, trying to make a play. Behind them is Sheer as he teleports in. The lights have been turned out. They could be in trouble. And the cancellation on the Realm Warp is there. Mako is sent to be withdrawn. Rookie on the side. Gala knocked up. You'll get at least a little bit of gold out of that if you're IG, although Shadow can no longer join the fight. Rookie doing a lot. Sheer got a little low, but he's all fine.
But to what end? It's great that they're able to take those withdrawals, but they were dropping off in 30 seconds anyway. It's the little bit of gold that they get from it, which is why they have to be making that play. IG, you know, they'll happily take that. Those are quick resets, really. You know, they get to go back to base, withdraw, get full HP, and it costs them 200 gold, granted, but I think for the most part, they're now back out onto the map. 1 minute on the Dragon, which probably gets left to the wayside because Baron spawns in 145, and the, you know, Drake stacking this game hasn't been particularly abundant, so neither team really close to that soul. IG, though, just looking to continue their assault on the base, on the turrets, on the structures of FPX. This tier 2 stands no chance.
Bro, dude, when did everybody stop caring about dragons, man? It feels like nobody cares anymore.
I don't know, man. Maybe when Cloud Soul started existing, or maybe when Chem Soul started existing.
True, honestly.
Amen.
Hey, Cloud Soul, highest win rate Soul. You know, surely that's a real stat.
Yeah, that's because the teams that are losing don't care to, you know, fight for it. If you're fighting against an Infernal Soul, you steal some of them.
Wait, that doesn't fit my narrative.
Sorry. I'll hide the. I mean, that's also just plain devil's advocate. So you know, we'll keep our eyes on how strong Souls are for the remainder of years. Probably get reworked at some point.
Maybe. It feels like...
Would you a random Drake change?
Yes. I was going to say the same thing. It really feels like we are. While they're taking this Drake, what are you most unhappy about the Dragon system, if you have any gripes with it?
Honestly, I think they've done a pretty good job. I think it's just about equally balancing all 5 souls, 6 souls, however many there are. Because there are definitely outliers. I think that Mountain is honestly probably a bit weak. You got Chem Soul, which is definitely, I'll say undervalued, but equally not as strong as other souls. So that's maybe the only thing. I love the Drakes that we've got at the minute. It's such a good system. I mean, if you compare this to Drake gives 100 gold to everybody on the team.
Oh God,
like,
bro, no,
you know,
I don't want to go back.
Back in the day.
No, don't take me back. You know, there's a lot to romanticize about League of Legends, and Old Dragon ain't one of them.
No, do you know what I did like though?
What?
The skill of timing objectives. So you know when Drake timers weren't global, you had to guess when the enemy team had taken Dragon if you didn't have vision.
Oh God, yeah, you're right.
You had to guess when it was going to be back up.
Unless you had Curse Voice.
If they brought that back.
If you had Curse Voice and you got in the beta like I did, you know, it timed all that for you. What a great program.
That would be the only thing that I could see that I would be interested in. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that was. Oh, what a time, man. Oh, what a time. I love League of Legends. It's crazy that you can still talk about League of Legends for back then now because this game is so great. And this game here has been at least quite entertaining as IG look to put the nail in the coffin. Jouet trying to go in and get a knock-up, but guess who's been rooted?
Oh,
it's
no.
Bot. He's dead. Gala gets the credit for that one. Yeah, you got charmed, Jouet, but you're not that charming as the rest of FPX will go down. They found the Shy, but IG finds everybody else, and they're going to end the... Oh, no! They left JJ behind!
And despite JJ's slightly longer walk to the inhibitor, this could very well be the game signed, sealed, and delivered here. Shadow, yeah, get the CS up, buddy, because there's nothing else for you to claim in your base.
Oh, he won the CS war.
Hey,
he's up a camp.
Pretty valuable.
Yep, he's up a camp. Shadow, pretty good job there. Out jungling JJ. You can tell by the CS lead and the camp differential.
Yeah.
That is what happened here as IG puts the finishing touches on a very convincing 3-0. After that, you know, that first game where FPX showed a little bit, really once you got to like the 25, 28 minute mark is really when IG started taking over, and throughout the series they never looked back after that moment.
No, yeah, exactly. The FPX had, like you say, 25 minutes in game 1, and then from there on out they didn't really have too much of a foothold back in. There was a little bit of a glimmer of hope when Bot's able to find a couple of kills, but for the most part it's worth saying that FPX were outplayed a lot of this series. IG needed this. This was a 3-0 that now can give fans a little bit of hope that as they move into playoffs, they are their best selves, and that they can challenge for their spot at first start. Because remember, we're sending 8 teams to playoffs, and you know there's a spot at first start, and that's what you get. You need to be at the tippity top of your game to be able to make it to that event.
Yeah, and you know they're now hitting their stride at the right time. Don't know if we quite have an early look at like a playoff bracket or anything like that. I saw one of them floating around with really just the top 4 teams. I imagine we're going to need to see the result of Top Esports and LGD before we can actually start sinking our teeth into that. But we can at least preview the matches that we're expected to see. You know, Weibo, BLG, and IG down there. Do you think that IG is still the weakest so far out of those 3?
That's a good question. I would have to take today's series into account, and you probably say no, but I don't know who I would put there, because you know you're gonna have. You said Weibo, Topper, both in that fight, right? Or in that lower bracket.
It's Weibo and BLG right now.
Weibo, BLG,
along with IG. You know, a lot
then
of
likely
the
Top as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's really a question of, do you think JDG is stronger than Thunder Talk? Because then you can start to say, okay, well, if JDG's stronger, then perhaps Weibo is a little bit stronger than BLG right now. You start getting into the, you know, the transitive property or whatever it's called. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of questions there, but it's hard. It's going to be hard for me to say that I think IG is stronger than Weibo or BLG, but I don't think they're that much weaker by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there is going to be recency bias because they played. If we'd have seen IG play FPX like this week 1, like the first game that they'd played, and then they'd have played NIP, and then they'd played RNG, it would have been a very shaky start. The question is, like, how do IG look if they play NIP now, for example? Is the result the same, or do we get a little bit of a switch up, right? Like, there's a lot of questions to be asked, because I think NIP as well, it's worth saying, have never really looked bad so far this split. Like, they've just had pretty solid performances overall. If we take performance of series as a whole, NIP have been pretty solid, and maybe end up being one of our teams to really look out for in the playoffs. And they're going to go into that bracket, the upper bracket. If you look at the name value of teams, you're thinking, there's probably a lot of underdogs in this, right? You've got TT going in, you've got NIP, teams that so frequently in the LPL have been relatively unsuccessful when you compare them to the likes of BLG, IG, Top Esports, Weibo as well. There's a lot of teams that, again, off of brand value and names in recent history, you would have expected to be in the upper half of the bracket that just aren't.
Yeah, and I love that, man. It's a new year, truly, and it really starts hitting you when you see that AL and Thunder Talk and NIP are the champions coming out of their groups. That is so awesome to see, and it's a real big shakeup that for those who may not be paying super close attention to the LPL, the ones who, the fans who maybe are paying closer attention to their particular region of choice, that when you get to these international events, you might see some brand new team names, outside of your standard, TES, Weibo, JDG, BLG.
Absolutely. And to touch on the close of this series, you can sort of see the little peak where IG lost a couple of kills, where bot found a little bit of gold injected, but the fact that the closest that FPX ever were in this game was even, they never once had a gold lead, speaks to quite the shellacking that they've taken in these last 2 games.
Yeah, this one certainly wasn't as quick, but IG, this composition reminds me of like a sports car. If you run into some adversity, you have some engine troubles, it's going to cost you a lot, and it could be a pretty bad time. But if everything's rolling the way it should, it's going to be pretty smooth. And that game was about as smooth as it gets. A couple of bumps in the road, sure, but they just decided, hey, instead of split pushing, we'll just move and we'll nullify the FPX composition. It just felt a little bit too narrow. As you take a look at the kill participations, Jejet and Rookie, really, really good stuff. 83% kill participation. And over on the side of FPX, I think Bot had a pretty nice game for himself.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because as an AD carry, like we talked a lot about how he didn't really get many resources in the first 2 games. In this 3rd game, he did, and then in the final fight, he's still dying to Rise Root when he has flash up. So that there are those inconsistencies in the level of play that we need from your top LPL players. That if you are getting caught by Rise Roots, you are unfortunately going to end up going down, and in the situation where you've got flash, that just can't be happening, especially when you are the linchpin of the team. You are the damage that you needed to carry. Yeah,
it's a little tough, but hey, listen, Bot has really been on most of the youth teams, was on the Thunder Talk youth team in 2021, runner-up in the LDL last year, the first taste really of the LPL, so stuff that he will learn, because even between the LDL and the LPL, the level is completely different. The game is faster, and if he wants to be a successful AD carry, not only later on in the year, but years from now, this is the stuff that he's going to have to learn from and recognize that, hey, you know what? In a situation like this, I just got to be burning my flash. Put myself in a bad spot. Don't even think about it. Flash away, reposition, live to fight another game.
Yeah, exactly. And it ends up being one of those learning curves, probably, where you think, well, actually, I should have never walked there in the first place. And then
True.
It's an entire mind shift, mindset shift that you have to take as well. Of, okay, I actually have to position these fights knowing that Rise has Ghost, knowing that this person has Flash, this person has Flash, and either be willing to burn mine to match that and have the reactions to be able to do it, or to play at such a range where I can't even get flashed on. And again, that's a learning curve especially at the top end, that can be quite tricky.
All right, Rudude, who are we looking for the MVP for this game? On the
JJ,
side?
JJ, definitely.
Yes, without a doubt. That's what I was
MVP.
thinking. It really should be no question. I mean, this guy was just everywhere, bro. Like,
Yeah, the early game
there we
kill
go.
participation.
Perfect.
Yeah, he I think so he ends up with 20 out of 24 KP,
So
and for like the most part, I think he was up to at least 12 out of 12. So he was everywhere doing the bits he needed to be doing.
yeah, it was a truly impressive Lee Sin game. You mentioned how Lee Sin can be a little bit flashy. While we didn't see any like, oh my god, wow, that's a super crazy kick. Every single play that he made was flashy and good and consistent. And it was like, man, this guy is just a truly talented Lee Sin player.
Yeah, and you know we've got so far past Lee Sin being a new champion and what he can do that I think a lot of teams now are anticipating these plays, so they play in a way that doesn't facilitate it, which is what makes when they do happen all the more impressive, right? But for the most part of that game, you could tell that FPX were cautious of what the Lee Sin could do. You know, making sure, okay, you're not getting kicked into me, and you know, outside of Zhui flashing away from the initial Sonic Wave at level 2 on top side, that was a little bit of a blunder, but the Lee Sin never really got the highlight moment, but he got a lot of consistent plays that just sealed the game, I suppose.
Couldn't agree more. And with FPX being done, at least until March for Split 2 placements, what's the biggest takeaway or takeaways for them, and what do you think they really need to work on? For me personally, again, it's getting this jungle to unlock your bot lane.
Yeah, I think that we've seen a lot from bot that means that there's an opportunity there, and I think if you're trying to leverage the idea of a LDL superstar coming into the LPL, you just need to give a little bit more resources. I think that Game 2 exposed them for not really fully understanding how the lane swap worked, so they need to probably dial in a little bit more on that, or pray that Riot removes it. But again, we're in the middle of the season, it's probably not going to happen. So there's a little bit of work to be done there on the overall macro, and maybe just looking at how they can break open their bot lane with Shadow, with Sorrow, whoever it is that they end up really looking to lean on as that carry.
As we're wrapping up here, we would like to give a big shout out to our elite coffee supporter, Aaron Soup. His pledge financial contribution helps level up our broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who try to give you an English LPL product every day. If you want to support us like he does, you can check out our coffee link. And, well, Rudude, we have a nice match to end the regular season, the exciting conclusion of Group A tomorrow, LGD versus TES. That'll be given to you by Alk Battery and Slayer. Rudude, do you have any early predictions for that series?
I'll give Top Esports a 3-0.
Yeah, I think they'll get a 3-0 as well. I'm glad that we're very much in agreement there, my friend. They just seem like a bit of a stronger team, and we will likely see them in the playoffs. But hey, maybe LGD can surprise us a bit. But that will be it for us here this evening or morning or afternoon, wherever the heck you are in the world. We want to thank you so much for supporting the product. For myself, for Rudude, for Camcom Behind the Glass, and the entire LPL English family, thank you so much for being here with us today. And we hope to see you tomorrow for the exciting conclusion of the LPL Split 1 regular season.